and welcome to Watching Worst Films, your guide to Razzie history. We have concluded our watching of all the yearly winners, so we're just bringing you some specials to wrap things up, and we would be completely remiss if we were not to cover this individual on our Razzie podcast. It is, of course, Adam Sandler. Big favourite of mine. Who am I, you might be asking? Well, I'm Jericho Reed, and with me, Kyle Szymanski.
Hello, hello, hello.
So, Kyle, what's your history with the Sandman?
So I grew up with Adam Sandler. I was in that perfect generation of, what we call it, 1999, when Phantom Menace, South Park, Adam Sandler movies were pretty much every 8 to 12-year-old boy in Scotland's heroes. So I grew up with them. I think the first one I seen was Billy Madison. I've been trying to retroactively remember, but it was either Billy Madison and then Big Daddy, and then everything just scattered around. Happy Gilmore, Waterboy, devoured anything I could find from him. And then I worked backwards to SNL. I'm a big SNL fan. Got all his DVDs, greatest hits, and a few of his years as well. I had a season, I think, on video, I can't even remember now. And then by, 2005, I'm probably falling off. It's not even a growing up thing. I still watch the Sandler films, but the quality, the Silver Age was showing, and then I pretty much bailed off around, Grown Ups 2 was my nail in the coffin. So, early days, fanatic, absolutely obsessed. Then it gets mixed. But what about yourself? What's your background?
I probably came to him a little late. I'm trying to think what my first exposure to him might have been. Mr. Mackenzie, the RA teacher who we have doxed on previous episodes, who basically just had us watching videos half the time. I think my first Sandman exposure might have been watching Happy Gilmore in RE. And as we'll cover on this episode, and as I've touched upon on the podcast previously, I like Sandman to be a little zany. I'm not hugely into him when he plays like an angry man-child. I prefer him to be a little more. I like him a little more Waterboy than Happy Gilmore. And there was a guy in my class who said that he looked like Adam Sandler. I guess he kind of maybe a little bit, and he kept doing impressions. And I disliked him, and so I maybe projected a little bit of my dislike onto the Sandman.
Mm-hmm.
So it took me a little while to get one round to him, and then I think it was probably watching The Waterboy later when I was like, oh, this is something.
Genius.
Yeah, exactly. And then since then, I've been as a big masochist, as listeners to this podcast will know, I have enjoyed seeking out his films. There was a weird thing. So my birthday's in May. My dad's birthday is in January. There was a weird thing, as part of his Netflix deal, he releases films approximately every 6 months, and so it used to be the case that there was always a Sandler film either for my dad's birthday or my birthday. So my dad used to be like, "Are you coming back to Aberdeen? I've kept it for you. Have you seen it yet?"
Oh, that's wholesome.
So yeah, so I've seen a bunch of his films, and similar to you, he kind of wore me out round about Grown Ups 2, where it became an abusive relationship I had with the Sandman, where I was like, you know what, you're just producing crap, and I have I don't know, it's just sad to see. And then I had the most incredible falling back in love with the Sandman, where I'm like, you know what, this just redeems everything you have ever done. Blank check, do whatever you want, because this is so good. Whatever you do, I'm first in line. So without further ado, we are of course a film podcast, don't really have much time for television. You've touched on his SNL time. Did you know that one of his early roles was on The Cosby Show?
Oh, no, I didn't know that. I assumed SNL was the first TV. I know there's Going Overboard, the movie, we can talk about, that I rented accidentally rented many a time. Yeah, I didn't know that. That's what was his role?
He was just Smitty, who was a friend of Theo Huxtable.
Okay.
So okay, so we will now get into the filmography of Adam Sandler, and there's
Yes.
two things I want to use to frame our discussion of him.
Okay.
So, a friend of the show, Callum, who messaged a while back, spoke about like product placement being the key of like particularly his later films. He does them to go on holiday with his friends. You've questioned whether they are like tax write-offs, but like he gets these incredible budgets due to the fact that his films are essentially glorified adverts with like incredibly prominent product placement. So we'll kind of speak a little bit about that. And my other thing is like just the weird messiah complex he has, where like I don't know. We've all read Hero with a Thousand Faces, and like not all movies have to fall into the template, but generally speaking, protagonists kind of change and grow over the course of a film. And it's kind of astounding watching Adam Sandler films how little his characters grow. It just starts out being like he's like an underappreciated messiah character, and the rest of the world needs to learn to love and accept
Okay.
him.
Okay.
So that's going to be the other framing for my analysis of his work, because if you will allow me to quote George Bernard Shaw, the reasonable man adapts himself to the world. The unreasonable one persists in trying to adapt the world to himself.
Amen.
Therefore, all progress depends on the unreasonable man. So, that launches us into 1989, Sandman's debut film, Going Overboard. I haven't seen it,
You've
so
not
the
seen
floor
it?
is yours.
Oh, it's
No.
fucking shit. It's barely a movie. I rented. This was a very first DVD. I think, or one of the first DVDs I rented from our
Yeah.
beloved video store. The cover burned into the brain, but it's not really a movie. And Sandman's not. I don't know if it's been post success, been edited to try and include him more, because like him being on the cover is it's a trick. It's absolutely a fucking trick. He's a comedian. He's a stand-up comedian on a cruise ship, if I remember correctly, and it's just like vignettes and characters he meets. But this is like no budget, shouldn't be seen. Lying in a it doesn't count. It really doesn't count to me. This is pre SNL as well. Like so, this is when any work, like someone's wanting you to be in your Z grade movie. Yep, and you come. Then you get successful 10 years later. I make a killing on DVD. That's what it is.
Okay, well, not to give that one any more time, as we've got a lot to cover.
You would do.
Then he's back 2 years later in 1991 with Shakes the Clown. Have you seen Shakes the Clown?
I haven't heard of Shakes the Clown. What the fuck's that?
It's Bobcat. Bobcat
Oh,
Goldthwait. It's Bobcat Goldthwait's Joker, essentially. So this is another one which I owe to my dear father, who downloaded it and was like, I've watched Shakes the Clown, do you want to watch it? So it's kind of like, it's Joker, but it's also kind of like a better Vulgar.
Okay,
Like,
better Joker.
Yeah. Bobcat is just playing like a kind of depressed birthday clown, and Sandman plays like one of Shake's friends.
Okay.
It's kind of cool. Like there's some other people in it, like Tom Kenny, and Robin Williams is in it in a small role. The thing I kind of remember is that there's like a clown bar where like all the off-duty clowns go just to drink.
I like
Just like
that.
a bar full of clowns is quite funny. Sandman's very, very small role, so not really much to talk about. So off to 1993. You don't have to hone your cone alone, my friend.
Fuck, I forgot he's in Coneheads.
Yeah.
I've covered Coneheads when we did 1993. I
Yeah.
hate Coneheads, both
Yeah.
the sketch and the movie. Every SNLer is in this, and it's a fucking cameo, so I'm not going to go on anymore.
Then 1994, he is in Airheads.
Yeah, my beloved Airheads, finally. I love this movie. It's not a strong Sandler movie. Obviously, sharing the bill with Buscemi and Brendan's is hard. You are the comic relief. It is also his whiny like character. Like it's like a prototype of Sandler characters in there. But 94 is probably his peak SNL time. There's a lot of SNL people here. Harry Shearer turns up. It's a good fucking film. I really enjoy Airheads. Yeah, I don't count it as a Sandler film almost, but I do like it.
And then we also have Mixed Nuts from that same year. Have you seen Mixed Nuts?
Not even heard of Mixed Nuts.
Mixed Nuts is the Nora Ephron movie. It's like a Steve Martin vehicle where it's like a suicide hotline over Christmas. And like it sounds like a good concept, and you think Nora Ephron, great. Yeah. It's crap. It's not good. And the Sandman's doing like a zany voice. Again, he's just kind of quite small role. He's kind of finding his feet, I guess. Yeah. Seeing what works.
And it's not it's not gonna be the jerk Steve Martin. This is post.
No.
Father of the Bride. Fuck that.
Yeah. So we then zoom off to 1995 with Billy Madison.
Here we fucking
go. This is it. This is his arrival.
This is fired from SNL or cut from SNL with a big changeover. So goes off to make his movie. Part of it. I think Lauren produces Billy Madison, or at least has a thank you note with it. Because there's a lot of SNLers, a lot of good writers here as well. Obviously, I've covered Tim Hedley a lot because he pops up in nominations. This, I believe, is their first collaboration on the movie. I've got Norm Macdonald's here, Farley's here, Jim Downey, my favorite comedian writer of all times here. It's despite all the talent, it is one of the stupidest movies ever. It is so fucking stupid. It goes full circle. I love Billy Madison. I still love Billy Madison, even though I it's hard to like separate nostalgia and love for it. If I seen it fresh now, I don't know what I'd think of it, but I still like it. I still think this is like the benchmark early on by which every other Sandman, Happy Madison production will ever be based off. This is it, the template to me. What's your thoughts on Billy?
Yeah, I completely agree. Like, this is it. This is like the blueprint, the prototype. Like, he nails it. He finds like his comedic persona, which is like the man-child. Interestingly, Sandman would agree because he said, Billy's the closest I've come to playing myself.
Yeah.
I don't know if he said that. I'm assuming he must have said that in 1995 because that's him kind of finding the formula. And for a lot of other films, some would say he's never deviated from playing himself since. Of like, hey, I'm like a man-child who loves basketball. And
this is, and we'll cover them as we go through his early ones. These are the ones that reek of sketches in SNL. Like, Billy Madison could be a sketch. You could condense that down to 7 minutes. Dumb boy goes back to school. But it works because I don't know why it works. It's everyone else. It's a team effort. But it's so...
It's a compelling story watching him go on his journey and like the zany characters like the O'Doyles.
Everything, but that's it. Like everything that's weird and from Farley to Downey to everyone in between are funny as well, which is... when later on when we're getting into just Sandler is funny and everything around him is shit. Like Billy Madison has a great world. It looks good. It's a very bright film. Nothing bad to say about Billy.
So you mentioned the all-star cast there. Well, one person who was very nearly in it 10 years before they would cross paths in Punch Drunk Love, Philip Seymour Hoffman auditioned for the role of Eric. Adam Sandler saw his tape and thought he was hilarious. Sandler really wanted Hoffman, but the studio said they offered it to him and he changed his mind and didn't want to do the film. Sandler then called him up personally and asked him why he declined, and Hoffman just said, I just don't want to.
I will.
So I'm imagining like their phone call in Punch Drunk Love.
I'm Eric's the antagonist, isn't it? The Mike Love looking guy.
I assume it must be. Yeah.
I'm gonna say I'm glad Hoffman didn't do that. I love the I can't even remember that. Sorry, actor, but I can see you in my head. I love that performance. But that's a nice little
it's great
touching across.
Another little fun fact is that Adam Sandler in the dodgeball scene hit the kids with the dodgeball as hard as he possibly could.
Amen.
The editor had to cut away quickly after each hit so that he didn't show the children crying.
Oh my god, that is genuinely funny. That is great.
So you can see what he means about the closest he's come to playing himself. And we are then off to 1996 with Happy Gilmore, which is when the Sandman would first attract the attention of one Mr. Razzie, given that this is his first nomination for Worst Actor.
Insane that he escapes Billy Madison but not Happy Gilmore.
Yeah.
I love Happy Gilmore. I think it's a greatest hits. It's Dark Side of the Moon. It is overrated. It's overquoted, but like you have to be really good to be overrated and to be quoted endlessly. I love Happy Gilmore. I agree with you that Sandman isn't at his strongest. It's probably one of his lazier ones, but the world around him, and again, this is the Billy Madison effect still in full swing. You have so many people just upstaging him endlessly. I love it. I love Happy Gilmore. I think it's his peak in terms of if I was just going to show someone an Adam Sandler film, it's Happy Gilmore every single time.
Yeah, it's the broadest, most kind of like it's the most reliable one, I would say. Yeah. Interestingly, trivia on IMDb about other considerations for Shooter McGavin. So Kevin Costner was offered the role but declined, which interesting to imagine Costner and Sandman.
Costner would have been shit. Absolute fucking shit. There's no way Costner would have had the comedic ability to deliver. No.
Yeah. Bruce Campbell auditioned for the role of Shooter McGavin. I think Bruce would have been great.
Bruce would have been good. It's what I'm going back to before. I don't want it recast because it's perfect in my head. It's like nothing can be topped. So I'd probably rather have Bruce Campbell than Adam Sandler if I'm replacing anyone.
That's interesting actually. So you wouldn't take my final one, which is Tim Allen as Shooter McGavin?
That might work though. Tim Allen might have been amazing. Especially
Tim Allen bring his
97
drug dealer.
Yeah, 100%.
And so that's all I have for Happy Gilmore. It says that it had an uncredited rewrite from Apatow because they were roommates or something, didn't they? Which like Funny People was their first sort of big like headline collaboration, but they kind of been very close in the past, I think, hadn't they?
Yeah.
But my favorite, the absolute highlight of Happy Gilmore for me is Ben Stiller.
Ben Stiller is, again, when I'm talking about people that just come in and steal the show, I'm kind of talking about Ben Stiller.
Yeah.
Could be like one of definitely the pound for pound funniest Ben Stiller's ever been. Like every line is perfect. And he's in it for like 3 minutes, and everything is his delivery, his mannerisms, perfect. Could have been the film that won me over for Ben Stiller at first, and thought this guy is great. I'm going to go devour all his filmography, and I didn't ever get. I don't know what happened or what was in the water that day, but fantastic stuff.
Yeah, I know what you mean. And then in 1996. Shared worst actor nomination, we had Bulletproof. So you haven't seen Bulletproof?
I've seen Bulletproof.
You have seen Bulletproof?
Yeah. Okay, we talked about it in 1996 when we covered it. That's Al Waynes and Sandler, buddy cop one. I liked this a lot when I was a kid. I rented and then bought this on video, because it wasn't in the Sandman collection, like Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore, blah blah blah. I loved Blue Streak. Remember that film, the Martin Lawrence film?
I know the cover.
That was probably the biggest movie of like 98, 99. I liked Lethal Weapon. I liked Buddy Cop. Beverly Hills. I just like that kind of style as a kid. Bulletproof isn't funny, but it's fine. Sandler acts in it. He's a drug dealer, thief or something. He's the baddie, and the Waynes is the cop, undercover cop. Yeah. But it's fine. I didn't hate it. Speaking of Martin Lawrence, it reminded me of Nothing to Lose with Tim Robbins, is it?
I don't know that one.
It's a very similar film, but like I don't know. I don't think it's his worst. It's just not funny. It's very generic.
Poor Man's Midnight Run.
It is, It's a very generic film. I will say though, it is Sandler not being a man-child or doing angry. You know, like he is acting in it. Maybe not great, but like it's an early sign of what's to come in diversity and range.
Yeah, true. He made me laugh when he does his funny voice singing I Will Always Love You in the shower. But just to go back, I guess he hasn't fallen in. We've spoken about like Billy Madison being him stumbling upon the formula, but in terms of the Messiah who just like incapable of growth, That's not really come yet.
No, no.
Because he does change in Billy Madison. He kind of grows through going
Yeah.
through high
And
school, and same
Bulletproof.
thing
And
with
yeah.
and Happy Gilmore. He also kind of learns to channel his rage, and it isn't just about the world accepting and loving him. So we are then taking a bit of a leap forward. Prior to this point, it had been one every year, but we're now off to 1998 when he was quite the busy boy. So he had The Wedding Singer.
Yeah. Have you seen The Wedding Singer yet? Have you caught
Nope,
up? No.
not yet. No,
It's the golden age one that you're just refusing to watch, aren't you?
I will. At some point.
I like The Wedding Singer. I liked it as a kid. It definitely feels like an SNL sketch dragged out to an hour. I still think it's Harley and him. Could be wrong there, but it feels like it. I like it. I like it a lot. It is sweet. It is funny. And again, Sandman's not quite. This is the beginning of I'm gonna get comfortable and do romance rom-coms and stuff, but.
Yeah, he's diversifying.
He does get some songs in there. I like Sandler singing. I like his albums. So do you. I don't know why you haven't watched Wedding Singer for that reason alone. We get a rapping granny.
I think my issue was I just saw it as the prototype to his like blended Jennifer Aniston. Like
it's better.
It's
like, way better than that.
I want Sandler to be single. I don't want any girls in my Sandler vehicle. Okay, so we then have Dirty Work. He plays Satan.
Oh, fuck yeah, he does. That is uncredited, surely. I fucking love Dirty Work. Of course I do. Norm Macdonald's one and only lead role in a film, directed by the guy from what's his name? Bob Saget. I remember.
Oh yeah.
I believe his directorial debut as well. Dirty Work's great. Yeah. It's not a Sandman film. He's not in it, but I love that film. I think it's hilarious. Do recommend it.
And then, of course, we have The Waterboy, which also earned him a nomination for Worst Actor at the Razzies.
Okay, that's I'm sure that covered that in 2001. I fucking love The Waterboy.
Yeah.
I fucking love it. It's my favorite. It wasn't as a kid. It was nowhere near the top 3 as a kid. But it stayed with me, and I quote it, I think about it. It seeped into my like day-to-day like vernacular. Like I just can't get away from it. And like I can't remember, it was either pandemic or just after. I watched it again fairly recently, the last couple of years, and I couldn't stop laughing. There was the bits I forgot about were even just minor details, little cameos. I love it. It's my favorite by a mile.
Yeah, it's my favorite of the classic Sandman era as well, and yeah, definitely the most quotable for me with down to the classic. My mama told me not to get Roy Orbison tattooed on my ass. Oh, mama don't know, can't hurt her.
Don't hurt. Yeah.
Do that up on God. And yeah. So many.
The mine's is like that's your daddy. Just burned into my brain.
Yeah. So interestingly, we'll speak about it a little more. It's all very high. This is the honeymoon phase for Sandler when everything's golden. I'm like, this guy is a comedic great. He's going to be making fantastic movies that I love forever. Mm-hmm. But we're going to see the seeds of the downfall get sown in here, given that this is his first collaboration with Rob Schneider.
It is. And this is... my split is really easy. It's when Harley stops writing with him. That's my split. Once he's gone, you notice the biggest change. But like you say, the seeping of friends that don't contribute as much. Farley's dead now. Like we can't use Farley. Like Chris Rock's not coming here yet. Like we'll go for Schneider. Yes, it's definitely the turning point. He is good though in Waterboy.
He's
so
great.
I will give him that.
Like that's the thing is like he doesn't start off if Snyder came in and delivered like a David Spade or even worse Nick Swardson level performance, then Sandman would have just been like, that's it, gone. See you later. It's the fact that he is good and they do work together well in the early ones.
And his non SNL pals are, this is the first time they're here. They're playing like all the other footballers, and like Needle Dick and like all they're gonna be his pals and Big Daddy and they're Mr. D's. You know, the non SNL, then his actual friends are really good as well. Like, so I don't know. I love it.
I sent you, when I was at the Academy Museum in LA, there was like an exhibit with little notes from casting directors on like actors they'd seen, how they memorized them and things. And one of their notes from an early meeting with Adam Sandler was like, member of the cast on SNL, Rob Schneider's writing partner. And I loved the idea of at one point in time Sandman being defined by Rob Schneider. Like, you know, it's Rob Schneider's friend, Adam Sandler. But interestingly, we also have the female lead, Vicky Valancourt. So we have to go back to Billy Madison for Veronica Vaughn being the first Sandler's character love interest with a VV name. The others being Virginia Venet in Happy Gilmore, Valerie Viren in Little Nicky, Violet Valentine in Hubie Halloween. And there are other alliterative female names, including Lena Leonard in Punch Drunk Love, Babe Bennett in Mr. Deeds, Jane Ann Johnson in Reign Over Me, Daisy Danby in Funny People, Mary McGarrigle in That's My Boy, and Courtney Clark in Sandy Wexler.
Oh.
So, there you go.
Vicky Valancourt's my favourite, though. It's the one I remember. Yeah. It's the only one I'd remembered. So
yeah, that's the only one I could name, yeah.
She's... That's by default.
I see a lot of girls. I see a lot of guys, too. And then we are off to 1999 with Big Daddy. Which was his first actual win, where he took home Worst Actor, as well as being nominated for Worst Screenplay.
Yeah, so what's your thoughts on Big Daddy, then?
I haven't seen it in a while, but I liked it enough. Yeah. That was another one that we watched at school, and like... Yeah, like, I don't know, like, it like we spoke about for The Wedding Singer, he's trying to, like, take in more demographics at this point in time, isn't he? Of, like, veering a little bit into rom-com adjacent stuff, and also, like, guys who may not like zany, weird voices, who might just want, like, a conventional kind of scuzzball.
Yes, it's more accessible, isn't it? It's like, again, if Happy Gilmore is Revolver, then this is Abbey Road or something, you know, like, this is the cleanest, easiest way to get into them. It isn't the highlight of Sandman. I like the film. I think it's a funny film. It's sweet, very good film, but Sandman's probably the worst part about it. Like, for laughs, he's probably got the lowest. Schneider's kicking them out the park in this one, but he's
I haven't seen it in long enough, but it's not. Like, beyond Scuba Steve, you don't really think of him being memorable in any
not
way.
At all. It's everyone else around him. But it's still, that's not the point. It isn't zany as his previous Golden Age ones. This is your... I'm just using music analogies here, but this is your breakthrough single. I need to get in the mainstream now. I can't do this underground stuff anymore. But it's still good. It's great. Shouldn't have been his first win either.
Yeah, no, exactly, yeah. He's trying to progress beyond, like, I don't know, frat boys and, like, teenage boys to just kind of, like, accessible, everyday comedy people, I guess. But one noted fan of this film, a certain Mr. Paul Thomas Anderson, who said, speaking of his love of the Sandman, I particularly loved Big Daddy and Happy Gilmore. He's so good looking now as he gets older.
I would have known Big Daddy was his favourite. If you just random. I think that film's influenced him in strange ways that he doesn't quite know.
Yeah. Well, like, daddy issues is a sort of recurrent idea through Anderson's filmography, so yeah, I can see why I might connect with him. Also, in the year of 1999, we had Juice Bigelow, Male Gigolo.
I've seen it, but it's been far too long, as we covered before. You are the most recent watch, I believe. I've
never seen them.
Have you not? Oh, fuck. All right, well, they suck, right? I don't like them. There's funny jokes in them. I remember the second one more. That's the European Vacation, or whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah.
But they're shit. They are. Rob Schneider lead shit. I don't remember Sandler in it.
Yeah. And then in the year 2000, we had Little Nicky, which was also a big one for the Razzies, as he was nominated for Worst Actor and Worst Screenplay.
This is my turning point in terms of debatable whether this was the end of the golden age or the start of the silver, whatever. Yeah. I loved this movie as a kid. 10, 11-year-old Kyle fucking adored it. And then I guess it's when you grow up a bit, and I couldn't remember. Like, I wasn't quoting it, I wasn't thinking about it, apart from little bits. Yeah. And then I watched it back probably 10 years ago, and was like, there's good bits in it, but for every hit, for me, it's a straight down the middle. For every hit, there's a miss, and that's not what the track record had been until this point. I still like it though. I don't know. I'm conflicted. What about you?
Yeah, I haven't seen it in so long. It's like it's fine. I would just classify it as like lesser Sandler. Of like I don't think there are any kind of like structural issues with it that make it massively flawed. It's just not that good, I think.
Yeah.
And so if it was earlier on, it would just be a throwaway experimentation, whatever. But you're right, it comes kind of at a turning point where he was beginning to lose a little bit of the magic.
A little bit of steam.
Interestingly, of course, I think it makes like a good pair with Dogma.
Mm-hmm.
And this is perhaps where we should speak about him now. The looming sphere of Kevin Smith. Why do I call him a sphere? Given that like lazy Gen X men children who dress almost exclusively in sports jerseys and who employ a gang of their talentless friends. Like, it's like that meme. Like when the Sandman does it, I'm like, oh, you're sweet. When Kevin Smith does it, I'm like, hello, human resources. Because there's...
Yeah, the thing is, though, No, make your point, Nadja.
No, I just think, like, they are interesting, like, figures in parallel because of a lot of the same issues blight the two of them, I would say.
Yes. I would just say, though, Little Nicky is probably the craziest cast list I've ever seen in a movie.
Really?
You know, like Sandler, Keitel, Rodney Dangerfield, Dana Carvey, Clint Howard, John Lovitz, Ozzy Osbourne, Quentin Tarantino, you know, Bill Dunder, Henry Winkler. Like, everyone's in this and popped. A lot of fucking cameos, but yeah, that's a crazy fucking cast.
And my go-to for that is actually another Adam Sandler film. But yeah, as you go on, like, you'll see that, yeah, there are a lot of crazy casts, particularly as he gets on a bit. Another thing I want to discuss is that Adam Sandler, as well as being a cinematic icon, is also a sartorial icon, given that Adam Sandler's style is its own fashion look, apparently. And the Sandman commented on his standard outfit of like basketball jerseys and like shorts, saying, "It took a while. I was working that angle for years. For a while I was like, please accept me in the way I dress. And 30 years later they finally came around."
Sure, yeah, fucking A.
It also says on Wikipedia that Little Nicky marked the beginning of the shared universe of Sandler films, so predating the MCU by 8 films. I
would have been probably wrong, but I in my head, Little Nicky's the first Happy Madison.
Yeah,
Happy
Madison goes. No, yeah. Happy Madison goes back.
What's the first Happy Madison?
First Happy Madison is Happy Madison was founded in '99, so Juice Bigelow is the first Happy Madison.
Okay, what's the first Sandler? Is that Big Daddy then?
Yeah, it would have been.
Okay, well, I'm still.
Hang on. It might have been Little Nicky actually. You could be right.
Because if Big Daddy was, it still doesn't count because it's not a Sandler comedy. It's a different kind.
What's the shared universe thing? Well, is it the homeless guy?
No, where like Chubbs Peterson is in Little Nicky and Hell.
He is in Hell, yeah.
Yeah, or Hell, yeah, whatever it is. And then characters, "You can do it," from Schneider starts popping up everywhere.
And so then we are off to 2001 with a Minor year for Sandman when his only appearance was a cameo in Rob Schneider's The Animal.
Oh, I've not seen The Animal. Have you seen The Animal?
I've not seen The Animal either, so wow, here we go. That's our first bust.
That is the first bust.
So The Animal is the one that is his Island of Dr. Moreau type thing. And what is the Sandman's role? That's the one where he does the you can do it. So I've seen that clip.
Okay.
So interestingly, in October 2022, Rob Schneider announced that a sequel is in development, which will be released as an exclusive Tubi movie.
Good old Tubi.
Principal photography is scheduled to commence in early 2023, with its tentative release schedule for later that year. So, will we ever get The Animal? Who knows? It's worth saying that, like, I've been skipping out things which he only produced. So, Joe Dirt was 2001, but because there's just too much to cover. So the only things I've got are things which he either acted in or wrote, because we also get The Master of Disguise. He was. I was going to say
Joe Dirt and Animals, just 2 cameos and production.
He's not in Joe Dirt.
No. Oh shit. So fuck. Okay.
Yeah.
It's a quiet year for him then. 2001.
Yeah. Well, he made up for it in 2002 when he was in Punch Drunk Love. So PTA and The Sandman together at last. So I don't know. They might have done stuff on SNL maybe, because I know like PTA was around SNL. Like he directed the Affleck thing.
Yeah. Let's have a Google. Yeah, Paul Thomas is by 2000, so it's much later.
Okay. Yeah. Makes sense.
Whereas he's born. No, I'm just saying it's all Big Daddy.
That's all I'm saying. Well, the PTA has said that he had an obsession-level love for Adam Sandler, and people thought it was a joke when he announced that following up Magnolia, his next project would be an Adam Sandler film. And, like, he's not wrong. Like, later Sandman, like, art house pieces would be, like, Adam Sandler as an actor, whereas Paul Thomas Anderson has made an actual Adam Sandler film, given that he's still playing like an angry man-child.
Yep.
Like,
I just for the record, sorry to interrupt you, I do have the answer here, the Paul Thomas connection. It's in an interview with Paul Thomas Anderson and Roger Ebert, talking about Punch Drunk Love. And as Anderson says, let me quote this, I saw this Best of Adam Sandler DVD from Saturday Night Live, and an amazing thing happened. There's this moment when he's doing this talk show called The Denise Show about his ex-girlfriend who's left him, and his father calls up and says, "What are you doing? You're embarrassing the family." And Adam goes into this fit of rage, screaming at his father, and honest to God, I saw this moment where it appears as if the whites of his eyes turn black and they roll back in his head. It was like he had just lost his mind. I would play it back over and over again, and you can see him kind of snap back into reality. The audience is laughing, and it's almost like he finally started to hear them laughing a few seconds later. Right. So there we go.
See, that's why he's the master, folks.
And that is a genuinely funny sketch as well. Like, he is great in that. He is funny, pathetic, angry. He covers all what you would want in an actor. Yeah, fair play. That makes so much sense.
Yeah. Because, what is it? PTA filmed some stuff for his recent 100% Fresh, didn't he? PTA's filmed something with him since, but I can't remember. I'm sure it was a section for his Netflix special that Anderson filmed. But anyway, we'd be down for him to work again. 2002 also brought us Mr. Deeds. It also brought him a nomination for Worst Actor.
Oh, Mr. Deeds is my turning point. This is the end of the gold. If Little Nicky's the tail point, this is the beginning of the Silver Age. Yeah, I went to see this in the cinema, I think.
Wow.
And 2002. I remember it for being like the last Winona Ryder film, and other than A Scanner Darkly, I don't see her again until Stranger Things. I remember this is her shoplifting period.
Yeah.
Mr. Deeds is pretty shit. It's like, it's okay. It's like a great film to watch on a plane. You know, that, like, it's easy. And there is some funny bits, not from Sandler though. And like, it's also a remake where ran out of ideas at this point.
That's what I was going to say. You have to give him credit for lasting as long as he did, because most comedy stars by now would have been at gunpoint forced into like, oh, we're going to do a remake of Brewster's Millions, but it's you and using characters of a tweet. Like Eddie Murphy, I'm sure was probably doing remakes by like. In fact, I don't know, what was Eddie Murphy's first remake?
Oh,
Nutty Professor.
He's already done Nutty Professor by this point. Yeah. I think, I could be wrong. If you've got Wikipedia handy there, I think Mr. Deeds is either the first without Headley or the last with Headley, and I can't remember.
No, it's Tim.
All right, so this is his last one though, because there's nothing after Mr. Deeds.
Screenplay just by him as well. So yeah.
Right, yeah. I don't have. Sandler doesn't have ideas. Headley can write the screenplay. Yeah. Remake it, done. But yeah, Headley's out at this point, and this is definitely when the comedic change is a way to happen. Yeah. But for what it's worth, I don't dislike Mr. Deeds. It's very inoffensive.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's like, again, if you'd thrown that away in earlier in the filmography, completely fine. But yeah, it's just arriving where it is. 2002, we also had 8 Crazy Nights, for which he was also nominated for Worst Actor and Most Flatulent Teen Targeted Movie. That award that you rubbed you up the wrong way.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like 8 Crazy Nights, but I've seen it so many times. I rented this all the fucking time for some reason. It is so fucking stupid and annoying, and yes, like it is very sad. It's probably the most. I would say this is Adam at his most sincere. Yeah. Covering, playing, voicing all these roles, all his family. This is his clumps. Yeah. This is his personal story.
Like he's making a Christmas movie. Yeah. Like it's like we've seen that, because I just watched it like the other day, and like I'm like, oh, it's interesting. Like I've never. Obviously, it's not a Christmas movie because it's.
Well, like also this movie is the only reason I knew about Hanukkah. Like any of the traditions or anything of what 8 Crazy Nights were, all came from Adam Sandler. He educated a 12-year-old Scottish boy on Judaism.
Yeah, so because we get millions of, like, I don't know what, the California Prunes or whatever. Like we get millions of crappy like animated cartoon Christmas movies, but like. Judaism doesn't have any mainstream Hanukkah
and there wasn't
movies, really.
There wasn't a Hanukkah episode of The Simpsons, so I was relying on.
Does Krusty have one, maybe?
I'm getting all my Jewish knowledge from Adam Sandler and Krusty the Clown.
So yeah, no, I can I'm completely fine with like I like the Sofia Coppola, Bill Murray Christmas thing. I'm like. Is it crap? Yes. Am I fine with it existing? You know what? Bill Murray wants to lounge by and roasting the fireplace and sing Christmas songs. You do that. Goodwill and peace to all mankind. And same with Sandman. I'm like, you know what? Do you want to make some festive animated movie?
It's been spoken about a lot more recently. I don't know if it was a viral thing or just a meme, but people were talking about how the animators from The Iron Giant worked on this right after, and it's a fucking gorgeous film. It has no right to be this beautifully animated, hand drawn in 2002 for an Adam Sandler Hanukkah film. Like, fair play. Like, you wouldn't get this film now.
It's one of the most prestigious gigs in the business. He's just coming off PTA, gonna do a few days in the vocal booth, and also I think his performance is good. Like I think he's fine. I think he's decent as voice acting himself. Voice acting the old guy, I think he's good.
Whitey's the old guy, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's the only character name I remember.
And he voice acts Whitey's sister in what is perilously close to the Cock and Balls voice, but isn't quite. I'm like, you could absolutely have phoned this in doing the Cock and Balls voice, but I don't know if they process it a little bit or something. He's just ever so slightly different. And I'd also like to single out Rob Schneider is the narrator, and I think he's good. I think he's a good narrator.
Fair.
So, 8 Crazy Nights, innocent for me.
Yep, same.
However, he is also in The Hot Chick that same year. So
you've watched The Hot Chick recently, wasn't it?
No,
did we not cover that year? Years ago. I remember you talking about it.
Years back, because I think this was in my Rachel McAdams phase when I was like, okay, she's in it for like little scenes at the top and tail because that's the body swap. Rachel McAdams goes into Rob Schneider's body and he goes into hers. And we get a couple scenes of her playing Rob Schneider, and you're like, why could I not be watching that the entire movie rather than Rob Schneider doing a bad impression of... It's like, oh no, she's actually doing a good body swap performance, whereas Rob Schneider's doing some broad crap. But the Sandman is in it. Welcome relief. An oasis in the middle of the desert. He's playing his, you can put your weed in there guy. So, off to 2003, where we have Pauly Shore is dead.
Shit, he's in that. Who is he in
has
that? Just
himself.
Yeah, is he... What does he do in it? I can't remember him being in it.
It says, I don't know, it says he has a voice cameo. So
oh, well, there you go. Yeah,
counts.
It'll be a fucking phone call. Not counting that. I like Pauly Shore is Dead. I spoke about this before. I haven't seen it in over a decade. It might be shit, but I remember liking its meta, sort of turn the camera on myself. I liked it at the time. I did like it.
I feel like there's a story in why Pauly Shore hasn't been absorbed into the Sandler entourage. Because, like... They clearly have some kind of relationship if the Sandman was in this, but like, why is Pauly too proud to reduce himself to like a...
Other than having almost similar characters in the 90s, I don't see them crossing over. Like, because Sandler's either got his real friends or his SNL friends.
But why this? Like, if you remove this, I would be completely...
Because every comedian's in this, you know.
Okay,
Seinfeld, Jerry Seinfeld's here to talk to him.
He's just pulling out the Rolodex.
Yeah, it's like the aristocrats, you know, the joke film. Everyone's in that. Doesn't count.
Fair enough. And then we also had Anger Management that same year.
Yeah, so this was Silver Age.
Yeah.
I don't dislike Anger Management, but it's not
fine.
It's fine. It's Mr. D. Whatever I said about Mr. D, transplant over here, done. It's fine.
Yeah. So, yeah, this is another one of like, he might be like on the wane as like a comedic voice, but he's kind of becoming more legitimized in the eyes of Hollywood, isn't he? Of like, this is you're working with like a bona fide legend.
Yes. But if you're looking at it from Mr. Deeds and Anger Management back to back, it's the two laziest performances from him.
Yeah.
Like, he is phoning the fucking now. Which is earned, which is fair play. I do the fucking same.
Yeah. Mr. Deeds, I think we should say as well. I think that's the first appearance of Torturo, isn't it? Yeah,
and he's the best in the film as well.
Yeah, it gets really painful because Buscemi by this point has also been absorbed into the entourage, but yeah, they're two of the most painful when we really get into this shit. It's like, you two, you're not like no one's calling up Nick Swardson. Nick Swardson is like over the moon, but I'm like, Buscemi and Torturo, you've got the coins on speed dial. There's no need for you to be in this. But we are then off to 2004 for 50 First Dates and Spanglish.
Haven't seen Spanglish. I forgot about that one. That's the other romantic rom-com, isn't it? From
James L. Brooks one.
Yeah. I've not seen it. I forgot about it. I remember it now that you've said it, but no, I totally forgot that was a Sandler film. I seen Affleck there in my head for a minute. But 50 First Dates I can't talk about. I know it's... You not seen 50, have you?
Nope.
No. 50 First Dates is nowhere near as good as The Wedding Singer.
Yeah.
But it is charming. It is genuinely quite a charming little fun film.
Yeah.
I'm not a big rom-com man, but I like 50 First Dates. It would be a good date movie. And there is some funny bits in it. There is actual laughs. Not really from Sandman, but I like it. I do like it. It's probably better than Mr. Deeds and Anger Management. So it's a slight up. The decline hasn't really kicked in yet.
Yeah, we were a big Sandman household growing up. Of like, me, my dad, and my brother love the Sandman, and my mum, almost without exception, hates him. And so whenever we have our like birthday viewings, my mum's like, okay, fine, I'll just read a book or whatever. But that was a strong year for my mum because she really liked 50 First Dates. I think she might have enjoyed Spanglish. So this is the first year where he hasn't done one for the fellas. It's like, where's the man-child, Adam? What's this? What's this? Why are you seducing women, Adam? We don't want to see that. They stop you playing video games. They stop you running schemes with your friends. Anyway, Off to 2005, where we are back in Remakesville with The Longest Yard.
The Longest Yard. I don't like The Longest Yard.
Yeah.
I have seen the original many years ago, but other than the wrestlers in it, that's the only thing I ever watched it for. To be, oh, I know him. There's Steve Austin. I don't think there's who.
There's D12.
The Longest Yard's not good. No, it also feels like a fucking straight to DVD film, which doesn't help all the wrestlers and all the cheap remake. Not for me.
It's just kind of like, this is, I think, him testing the boundaries of like selling out, where he's like, oh, I can just be in movies. I don't have to like bust my ass conceiving like a character, and I can just be a guy.
Yep.
And my friends can be my friends. Because this is also his first appearance for Chris Rock as well, isn't it?
Yeah. But Chris Rock isn't, Chris Rock is not doing much in 2005 other than Madagascar, probably.
It hasn't started, has it?
I don't know. I'm assuming he isn't up to much by this point. Spade's not doing much, so all these dried up SNL from 1994 are going to start appearing more frequently. Kevin Nealon is going to be on every film from here on out, and we just got to accept it. Yeah.
You can't fight it. No, Madagascar was 2005 apparently.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
See? Do not question my Madagascar knowledge.
So, also in 2005, Deuce Bigalow, European Gigolo, for which he was nominated as a producer because it was up for Worst Picture.
Yeah. See what I said before. I remember this one more, but not enough. I hate them. I hate Rob Schneider. Not for me.
Yeah, so one of the weird things about that is that's the notorious one with the woman who has a penis for a nose, who's spoken about being like traumatized by it. Let me try and find that quote for you, because it's like a serious British thespian who like worked with Ken Branagh and did all these kind of like weighty West End roles. And there we go. In 2005, she appeared in Deuce Bigalow, European Gigolo, which she said may as well have been the most brutal Lars von Trier film. Another actress and I actually spent a whole night just crying. She called the experience regrettable from start to finish, and a hideous moment, and a great lapse of judgment on my part.
Who was that, sorry?
This is Miranda Raison, who played Svetlana Ravenko, one of Juice's clients from Chernobyl, Ukraine, who has a penis for a nose that she covers with a veil. Oh, so I guess she's a mutation? Is that? I'm assuming the Chernobyl thing is like... Yeah, so a nice Chernobyl joke as well as a penis nose joke.
Good stuff, good stuff.
So yeah, low point for all concerned, but it was okay because in 2006 he was back with Click.
Oh, he is back with Click. A legit little a light in the darkness in the Silver Age. Probably the closest, in my opinion, to a classic Sandman.
I think Click's a new age. I think Click is like a Bronze Age. Granted, it's the highlight of it, but like,
I like Click a lot more than Longest Yard.
Click is better, but it's a new animal. It's kind of like
It is.
Like,
it is.
This is the high point of a new era, I reckon.
It is. It's, okay, regardless, it's the best post Little Nicky Sandman film that sort of feels like a Sandman film. At least it feels like Herlihy's there with them, coming up with a sketch for SNL. What happens if I had a magic remote that could do this and that? Like, and then we'll work backwards and try and build something out of it. Sandman isn't great in it.
No.
But he, like other films, he is elevated by people putting in hammy and terrible and great performances at the same time. I haven't seen Click in a wee while, but I still like it. I'll still defend it.
What's the Michael Jackson thing about Click again?
He loved it.
There's some... Like, does it predict Michael Jackson's death or something? Okay, let's see. Oh, Michael Jackson, the first man to clone himself. That's the prediction made in Click.
Yeah, I found it, but you missed it.
That's it. Michael Jackson, the first... Sorry, yeah, do you want to...
Michael Jackson, the first man to clone himself, is now suing himself for molesting himself.
Good joke.
That's a Weekend Update Norm Macdonald joke right there. Fantastic.
I knew there was some Jacko-related controversy surrounding Click. Interestingly, Click is also the first Sandler-produced film to be nominated for an Academy Award, as it was nominated for Best Makeup at the 2006 Oscars.
Fair.
Or the 2007 Oscars. And so then we are off to 2007 with Reign Over Me.
This is probably our first divisive Sandler film.
Yeah.
Where we're on very different ends. I like Reign Over. I'm going to call it Reign Over Me, like the Who song, because I'm a boomer. Just deal with it. I had this on DVD at the time, probably about 2007, 2008. Yeah. And yeah, I like it. I don't think it's great. I like Sandler in it. I think it's a fine film. It's not funny, that's for sure. But I like it.
I think it's caught in between two worlds of like, it's not funny and it's not like a good performance, because he's basically playing Rain Man. So for those of you who aren't aware, Reign Over Me is Adam Sandler loses his family in 9/11 and it gives him autism. Of like, he becomes like a weird kind of shut-in who just wants to play Shadow of the Colossus the whole time. He rides a scooter around New York and he bumps into Don Cheadle. That's kind of like how we get to know him.
He's not Rain Man. He is very, honestly, man, if I lost my entire family and got a big insurance claim, I'm probably locking myself in and listening to albums and becoming a strange recluse.
Yeah, I'm not like on the page completely normal as like man withdrawing from life. It's just the characterization of like Adam Sandler plays him as like, because he's kind of doing the babbling man child, and like I'm sure he has some breakdown where he cries like, I lost my family in 9/11. It's just like on the page completely normal, but Sandman makes the decision to play him like Rain Man, because it
is.
But
like I don't continue.
Like the movie's like I Love You Man. Like the movie's like a bromance between two guys, except Adam Sandler is Rain Man and the whole thing's drizzled with the 9/11 secret sauce. And like the funny thing is like Don Cheadle kind of hates his wife and kids, and he's like, man, I would give anything for my bitch wife and little wiener kids to be dead. I could spend all day playing Shadow of the Colossus.
Is fucking who's the wife in it again?
Is she someone?
She is someone. It's very relevant. I'm sure of it.
Okay, give me a second. BJ Novak is in it. I know that much.
Yeah.
But Jada Pinkett Smith.
Yes, that's who it is.
Shit.
I would
G.I. Jane herself. Yeah.
Will Smith could have been in this, playing Don Cheadle and being like, "Shit, yeah, Sandler." Like, you mean I don't have to do anything?
Yeah.
My only little tidbit I have from this film is I watched this before going to see I'm Not There.
Yeah.
In the cinema, and I remember sitting there going, Todd Haynes, why go through the effort of putting Kate Blanchett in makeup and stuff? Like, he's right there. You know, I have a Dylan, I have a 1974. Don't use Heath Ledger, use Adam Sandler from Rain
What if
Over
Bob
Me.
Dylan had autism and lost his family in 9/11?
Because even the cover reminds me of the times they are changing.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
He's not got his arm around Don Cheadle, but in my head he does. He's wearing the same jacket. Love it.
So then interesting little piece of trivia. So looking at them on IMDb, the character name, Reign Over Me, Charlie Feynman, and his next role was Charles Chuck Levine. So that is how devoid of imagination he is at this point in time, where he's like, yeah, I don't want to play Charles, but we'll maybe give him a different nickname. Next is going to be playing like Charles Chaz Johnson. So the next film, of course, is I Now Pronounce You, Chuck and Larry, where he was nominated for Worst Picture, Worst Actor, Worst Screen Couple, Adam Sandler, and either Kevin James or Jessica Biel. So yeah, for what it's worth, I also would have nominated him for Reign Over Me.
Yeah, fair. I disagree, but I'll die on that hill.
Yeah, this is also like a key Messiah martyr text, given that like we get a film where like the greatest victim of homophobia is Adam Sandler for some reason, given that like this is a real kind of like, oh, you know, like it's a little bit time I got some more respect from the from the world, but that anyway pales in comparison to 2008. When we learn a lesson that you don't mess with the Zohan.
I stand by what I've said before. I think when we covered 2008, I think it's like the funniest 20 minutes, pound for pound, maybe in a Sandler film, and then it's the fucking drizzling shits after that. Yeah, I love the opening stuff. I love everything until the film starts, really.
Yeah.
And then I hate it.
It's like, you know what people say about like people who are considering suicide take like an uptick after they decide to kill themselves, because they're like, well, you know what, like, I'm playing with house money, so like the end's in sight, whatever. This is that for Sandman, of like, he's truly about to fall off a cliff, but he does kind of throw a lot of stuff at the wall. And yeah, I'll agree with you. So there is some zany comedy and energy. There's an energy in Zohan which we wouldn't see for over a decade.
Oh no, yeah, 100%.
I think Zohan is him. I think we might have spoken about it before. Zohan is him trying to deal with the success of Borat.
Yes, it is. 100% is. Not even subtle either. Like,
no,
like, desperate. We're getting desperate.
Yeah. So, interesting thing about Zohan is that Sloane from Entourage features in it, playing the love interest. John Turturro is the villain, because for those of you who haven't seen it, You Don't Mess with the Zohan is a Israel-Palestine film, because Adam Sandler is like, what? He's not Mossad. No, he is Mossad, isn't he?
Yeah.
And he's like Israeli Captain America. He's like an Israeli super soldier.
Because that's what's funny, is when he is just tearing through, is when he's in full like commando mode. I mean, it's yeesh now, but like when you just, it is genuinely funny. I will give him that.
Because they apparently wanted to paint abs on Adam Sandler. He was like, no, I'm going to get in shape. You don't. Yeah. The Zohan's the role of a lifetime. He's presaging the MCU juicing Kumail and Nanjiani up with steroids and being like, listen, you do not paint abs on Kingo. If you're Ant-Man, you gotta be ripped. You need to... I'm not doing a Zach Levi wearing a big full muscle man suit here. Like, I need to be in shape for this. So John Turturro is in it as the Palestinian supervillain, and Rob Schneider, of course, the man of 1,000 ethnicities. Rob Schneider gets to play Salim Yusuf Abdal, the taxi driver who holds a vendetta against Zohan after he stole his goat, which Salim presumes is dead. Is there a twist here, which like the goat is also his wife or something? I feel like there's probably something ludicrously offensive. Dave Matthews also has a role in the film as a white supremacist, because Dave Matthews comes up in like a bunch of other Sandler films after this, which is one of the weirder members. Yeah. And then Chris Rock's a taxi driver. Kevin James has a role as himself. George Takei is in it. It's Henry Winkler. We're really just, must a movie have a plot? Is it not all right just to fill it with a bunch of cameos?
Exactly.
So the Zohan click is a key text for me. Of like, click, I think, is the last one where you're like, me and you, we had some good times, Adam. You can still remember what you liked. Whereas Zohan is like Zohan for me was like, oh yeah, this is last one to leave, turn off the lights, kind of.
Yes, 100%.
And then, interesting fact for that, Adam Sandler had to use a stunt double every time he would hit himself in the nuts, because before the stunt double, he would hit himself too hard and the reaction would get caught on camera. Commitment.
Method acting. Love it.
It's baffling how Zohan escaped Razzie attention.
Yeah. It's inconsistent even up until this point. I guess we need to point out which ones are being nominated a bit more, as I'm blurring myself. I would have assumed this was a screenplay or something at the very least. Dennis Duggan, or whatever his name is, director.
Yeah.
You think people would get picked apart for it?
Yeah, because he's not like Stallone. It's not like everything Sandler did was Razzie nominated. It's like Mr. Razzie just seemed to forget about him. Like, there's a good few years where he doesn't get any nominations. 2008, he also had Bedtime Stories, the Disney movie with Russell Brand. So, like, it's fine. It's just like Sandler is going for some of that Eddie Murphy dollar of just like, oh, I can just make uninspired kids movies. Okay, sure, let's give that a go. But,
the only one I know about that is when I was doing my Herley research. I think he does something on it. And
he writes it. That's his comeback. Yeah,
that was a Sandler favor to get the Disney money to get him under the umbrella and to get work under there. So yeah, good. I've not seen it though, so I'm just happy when friends get a job.
Then we're off to 2009. So this is the first one I would have seen in the cinema, and this is another one of my favorites. 2009's Funny People.
Oh fuck yeah, Funny! I genuinely forgot about it for a second there as well. I went to see this in the cinema. I was a big Apatow boy, especially at 19, 20 years old. I fucking love Funny People. If it wasn't for the Sav Days and Paul Thomas, this would have been my Sandler acting film by a mile. This is better than Pauly Shore Is Dead for doing that. Turn the camera, and it's a movie still, but like, yeah, I love Funny People. I think it's still good.
So I haven't seen it since it came out when I was 18 and was way more impressionable and a lot less cynical than I am now. But like, I almost don't want to revisit it because it's such a perfect artifact in my head. I loved it so much. I hadn't seen Punch Drunk Love at that point in time, so this was like me learning, like, holy shit, he's been able to do this all this time. He just chose not to. And the fact that he lampoons the kind of movie he did, like President Baby and Water Baby or whatever, Mermaid Baby, all this stuff. I'm like, wow, like this is like real, all that jazz type insight. And I was like, well, he's drawing a line under that. What's he going to do next? What's up next? And I couldn't wait to see what he would make. And in 2010, he made Grown Ups.
So, yeah, Grown Ups, where do we fucking start?
Well, do we want to start with correspondence? Because we have a message from Ash Harnett. The Grown Ups is a legitimately good comedy film.
Ash, come and explain yourself on this podcast, please. Jesus Christ. I will say it's better than Grown Ups 2.
Yeah, in comparison to Grown Ups 2, I agree wholeheartedly. It's
I don't have anything to say on this other than I hate it, and it's lazy, and it's everything I dislike about the nepo hanging out with your pals at my expense when I'm paying to watch this.
You're funding this hangout.
Funding your hangout. It's fucking it pisses me off. I don't really have much else to say about it. I don't know. Herley's not here. I think he acts or he's involved, but he's not writing this one. He comes back for Grown Ups 2. This would be who is this Sandler writing?
Sandler is credited on like tons. Fred Wolf is the co-writer.
Another SNLer. Fred Wolf is a great writer, but not
as not evidence.
But not evidence here. Yeah. Fred Wolf has a great SNL run. He's very good with that frat boy generation as well. He handles them really well. Herley is more Sandler's writer in SNL, but when you've got so many SNL people here, not even his generation. I know there's like, I'm sure like Will Forte and Maya Rudolph times here as well.
Paul Thomas Anderson hanging out.
All this fucking talent and all in one place. It's just wasted.
Yeah. So in case we're forgetting anyone, Sandler, Kevin James, Chris Rock, David Spade, Rob Schneider, Salma Hayek, Maria Bello, Maya Rudolph, Joyce Van Patten, Steve Buscemi, Tim Meadows, Jamie Chung.
I would be dead if I did my SNL drinking game here.
Yeah, Hurley, Norm's,
back. But everyone gets a job. I have nothing against giving everyone a paycheck to come and I'm not against Sandler here. I'm against the people that go and see it and make it such a fucking smash hit as well. I always say, my barometer for comedy is 3 laughs. That's all I'm fucking genuine laughs, not smirks or chuckles. Ash Harnett, tell me the 3 laughs from Grown Ups. Right, timestamp them for me.
Doing great to solicit correspondence here with like, listen,
I will
you are wrong. I need supporting evidence. Come back.
I will see you.
Don't just shout it. I must have told it on the podcast before. My story with Grown Ups was this came out towards the tail end of my first year university. So yeah, second year university. Friend was staying with me. He'd just been at a gig, and he was like, "Oh, do you want to watch a movie?" And I was like, "Sure. What do you want to watch? I've got all these DVDs. I've got the complete Terrence Malick. I've got Punch Drunk Love. I've got this. What do you want to watch? I've got a pile of unwatched DVDs." He's like, No, let's get something new. And I was like, okay, sure. So we went to the Blockbuster on Byers Road, RIP, and he was like, let's get an ex-rental copy of Grown Ups. And I was like, are you sure? And I was like quite anti that plan, but he insisted on it, and being a good host, being a gracious host, I did not stand in his way. And then we watched it, and I swear he was just laughing out of vindictiveness. He'd be like, hey, I'm loving this. You're over there dying, but like, hey, isn't that funny? You like it? I know you could be watching Silence of the Lambs right now, but like, you like Sandman?
Jesus, that's rough. I would say Get Out Better Friends, but then I drag you to see Grown Ups too, so never mind.
Well, we're not there yet. We're not there yet. So we're off to 2011, and Just Go With It, for which he received Worst Actor win, and he was nominated Worst Screen Couple, Adam Sandler and either Jennifer Aniston or Brooklyn Decker. He also had Zookeeper that year.
This is your time now, because other than Jack and Jill, That's My Boy, and Grown Ups 2, I'm on a very, very lean years, so take it away.
Yeah. So Just Go With It I watched, and it is kind of crap. Like no real recollection of it, even though I watched it for the podcast only a few weeks ago. But it's very much like, I don't like the Drew Barrymore ones, I don't like the Jennifer Aniston ones. He's getting, like, it's just really pleasing no one, because Grown Ups is, at least there's some masochistic joy to be had in Grown Ups, because you're watching all these mega stars just fall flat on their face, and it's throwing stuff at you every 2 minutes. Whereas Just Go With It is more confined, and so if you don't like what's going on, you're just stuck with it for 2 hours.
And I'm gonna say, what a fucking downgrade comedically from Barrymore to Aniston. Like, yeah, that's like replacing Sandler with Matt LeBlanc or something. Like, it's just, like, it isn't gonna work. Like, that's no. I will go see a Barrymore one, maybe, but I'm never gonna see an Aniston team up. That's not happening.
What's interesting is that Aniston's been like relatively compartmentalized. Like, she never hangs out with the fellas. No. It's never like she's playing his wife in like a Kevin James vehicle. No. I don't know if that's like a salary thing of just like she's too big that she won't do the Salma Hayek role of like, sure, I'll take like $1 million to play your wife. She's getting my own.
That's what I'm saying. She gets the Barrymore position, double billed, like with him. Usually billed in front of Adam Sandler as well. Even despite being an Adam Sandler film, she'll be on the cover. She has to probably be predominantly more than Adam, like framed. Like, it's all obvious. It's obvious agent Hollywood malarkey.
Like the Towering Inferno is the notorious example of that, isn't it? Of like Newman McQueen with the like, first, your name is first, but it is lower. my name is second, but it is higher. Or like Who Framed Roger Rabbit, where they had the exec with the stopwatch calculating how long how long Bugs Bunny and Mickey Mouse showed up. Zookeeper, so I haven't seen Zookeeper.
Zookeeper is Kevin James's Night at the Museum, isn't it?
Yes, in which the Sandman plays Donald the Capuchin Monkey.
There we go. Say no more.
And then he also had another Razzie nominee that year, Bucky Larson, Born to Be a Star, which he produced and wrote, but was smart enough to avoid appearing on screen in. Smart. So nominations for Worst Picture, Worst Screenplay, and of course, Bucky Larson, Born to Be a Star, rip-off of Boogie Nights, and The Star is Born. That same year of 2011 also brought us Jack and Jill, for which he of course took home Worst picture, worst actor, worst actress, worst screenplay, worst screen couple, Adam Sandler, either Katie Holmes, Al Pacino, or himself in drag. Worst screen ensemble, worst prequel, remake, ripoff, or sequel, ripoff/remake of Glenn or Glenda. And so we've covered that at length. If you want to hear more of our talk on Jack and Jill, that's our episode to check out. Being the only actual Razzie Worst Picture, which he won. He had a lucky escape in 2012 with That's My Boy, where I think he was probably close to winning Worst Picture, as he also picked up Worst Actor and Worst Screenplay, whilst being nominated for Worst Screen Couple with Adam Sandler, either Leighton Meester, Andy Samberg, or Susan Sarandon.
Yeah, Jesus.
Anything else you want to say about
this is
Statutory Rape, the movie?
This is the bottom of the barrel. This is three of the worst films back to back to back from him. Yeah, like this is it. This is the bottom. This is absolutely the bottom of his career. It will, even going forward, will not scratch this amount of shit condensed so close together. Bad time to be a Sandman.
Yeah, no, it's bleak. Like, where were we? What? 2010 is Grown Ups. So if we said we had the absolute high of Funny People in 2009, and then we get the complete low of Grown Ups, and all the way through to 2012, and That's My Boy, it's been rough. He's been beating you. I like That's My Boy, for the record, but hard to defend it as perception wise. So yeah, that was also the beginning of the Hotel Transylvania franchise. You haven't seen it?
I have not. I know the first one's good though. I think you told me that.
First one's decent.
Someone told me that. I'm sure it was you.
It's by the Jendy Tartakovsky guy who did Dexter's Lab and like the Clone Wars cartoon or something. He's like a big animation guy for animation heads, and like there's a lot of energy there. That was one that I watched, and I was like, am I like a million years old? I was like, I feel like I'm going to have a heart attack. This is so energetic. But yeah, it's fun. It's fun. It was, like, funnily enough, watching Adam Sandler hang out with the fellas when they're all animated monsters, that's a good time.
Yeah.
Because...
I've also just looked it up, just because now I'm getting curious, and you're mentioning the director there. This was Robert Smigel co-wrote it. Obviously, he's beloved. He's also it was co-wrote with Peter Banham, who is a writer for Alan Partridge and many British
and Chris
things.
Morris.
Yeah, so like
is he not?
That's like no, but like,
he's like
that's my kind of like two across the pond. Someone that did Alan Partridge and someone that worked on SNL stuck together.
Yeah, put
them in a writer's room, animate it, so we don't need to worry about improvising or holidays. Yeah, like all those elements sound really good.
Yeah,
I'd be up for it. I'm glad it's a franchise.
Yeah, and a franchise which, funnily enough, Sandler has been kind of kicked out of. But, so the cast list, we have Sandman, Selena Gomez plays his daughter, Andy Samberg, Kevin James, Steve Buscemi, CeeLo Green, Fran Drescher, Molly Shannon, David Spade, John Lovett.
Yay!
Haven't discussed Lovett as a member of the entourage. Chris Parnell, Rob Rigel.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's
another drinking game that I would lose a liver. So
okay, so we are then off to 2013 and Grown Ups 2. So in many ways, kind of a key moment in the history of this podcast was the two of us going to see Grown Ups 2.
Well, like this is why I wanted to ask you, why did we go see Grown Ups 2? Was there a reason?
I don't know. Was this post Man of Steel?
Yeah, it must have been, right?
Because I think it was the summer of 2013, so I think I'd have just graduated university, and I feel like we saw a bunch of stuff in the cinema that summer. We saw Man of Steel, we saw Grown Ups 2, we saw Pain and Gain.
That's
over one summer.
What a fucking trilogy, isn't it?
Yeah. And I don't know. It was probably just us liking Sandman, I think.
Yeah.
We're probably just like, oh, Sandman's got a new
fuck
film.
It, let's go see it, yeah.
Naively trotting off to the slaughter. Yeah, so he was nominated for Worst Picture, Worst Actor, Worst Screenplay, Worst Screen Combo, the entire cast of Grown Ups 2, and Worst Prequel, Remake, Ripoff, or Sequel. And bullet dodged because Grown Ups 2 is one of like the worst comedies I've ever seen,
Yep.
and could on any other day could easily have been a winner across the board,
Yeah,
like
no,
every
like
category.
it makes Grown Ups 1 look great. Like I said before, it's
Yeah.
it's not even like That's My Boy is at least offensively bad in ways. Jack and Jill is at least
Yeah.
insane to look at and to try and decipher
Yeah.
what's going into my brain. Grown Ups 2 is just, oh, it's insulting. It's so fucking bad and lazy and yeah, it's worst.
It's spared only by the existence of movie 43, and in some ways, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, it might be worse.
It is worse. Movie 43 made me laugh
Yeah.
more.
Yeah,
That's
movie
it.
43 throws more stuff. There's more energy,
Yep.
vim, and vigor
And
in
the
movie
beauty of
43.
an anthology film is when something shit, it's over in 7 minutes. Whereas Grown Ups 2
Exactly,
just keeps
yeah.
going and going and going.
The sad thing is, this isn't even like. It's not like this is rock bottom and he climbs up. It's like this is rock bottom and he kind of just stays here for like a bunch of years.
This is
Because.
This will be, if not, I mean, maybe there's one more. This is probably his last big name.
Cinematic.
Yeah, before the Netflix deal. Like, this is
Yeah.
they probably, in my head, this is why this deal's starting to happen, is because holy shit, it cost us 150 million to do Grown Ups 2. There must be an easier way to do this.
Yeah.
Do the Netflix deal, like, and realizing that return is gonna stop very soon. Like, just not natural.
Yeah.
You're getting older. Yeah, like, it all makes sense.
But Netflix are in there like, we desperately need prestige.
Yes.
We just need eyes. It doesn't matter the cost. We just need people with a little bit of cachet to come and work with us. So off to 2014, we have Blended,
Ended.
for which he was nominated for Worst Actor. So I watched Blended for the podcast.
The only
It's a little
Barrymore
more-
one you're gonna watch is fucking Blended. It needs to stay that way. How was it?
It was better than expected.
Okay.
Of like, it's a little zanier. He's a little more interesting. He's a little more wacky, a little more man-child than I expected. But still, it's not exactly great. He also has a cameo in Top 5. Have you seen Top 5?
I'm not. I don't know what that is.
Top 5 is the Chris Rock film about top 5 lists.
Ah,
Um,
yeehaw.
it's like the Liam Neeson joke from Life's Too Short. Schindler's List. I'm always making lists. I can't remember him in Top 5. I haven't seen it in like a decade, but yeah, nothing to comment there. He's also in Men, Women and Children, the film by one of your faves, Jason Reitman.
Love nepotism, babies, me. I've not seen.
Haven't seen it?
No, I have not. No, is it a good one? This is when Reitman's still beloved, isn't it?
No, he's kind of gone off the boil.
Is he?
Like,
Okay.
it's not. I think this might be post Labor Day, actually.
Yeah.
Like, because Reitman's peak was like what? Like, people liked like Juno, obviously, is the high point. Like, I think Thank You for Smoking.
That's his
is,
best. That's his first, though, isn't it?
That's fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then like Up in the Air, but like I think by Labor Day people were like, this guy fucking sucks. And so yeah, this is people begin to kind of find him out. And like I like Reitman for the most part. The only one of his films which I flat out do not like is Ghostbusters Afterbirth.
I didn't even know which one it was called. Ghostbusters Believer.
Men, Women, and Children, I know lots of people shat on it. I think it's like perfectly fine. It's kind of like a computer bad movie, as memory serves. It's kind of like teens these days would rather be on their phones being sad and committing suicide and doing online bullying than having dinner around the table with their family.
Watch Labor Day. You know, that's fucking back in my day.
Yeah, kids these days would rather be harassing Jason Reitman on Instagram than watching Labor Day in theaters. And he's fine, like he's good. It's like this is his first dramatic performance in a little while, so like I thought he was like I thought he was fine, unremarkable. And then that same year, however, also brings us The Cobbler, for which he was nominated for Worst Actor and Worst Screen Combo with Adam Sandler and Any Pair of Shoes.
Yeah, see, I remember you were in Glasgow at this time.
Yeah.
I remember you talking to me about The Cobbler. I can't remember if it had just come out or it was in the next release, and we were talking grown-ups. This is when we would have went and seen Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We end up talking about The Cobbler. Take us away.
So, The Cobbler is him, again, kind of diversifying, given that it's not a pure Sandman film. This is kind of like one of his gun-for-hire movies, given that, like, he had no input on the screenplay, and it's kind of possible to imagine anyone playing the role of The Cobbler. Granted, he fits in, like, Buscemi and maybe some of the other gang.
Yeah.
But as far as Sandman goes, it's relatively generic. So the Cobbler is a shoemaker who is like part of a generation of shoemakers, and he has a magical gift, which is he can put on people's shoes and become them.
Okay.
And so
I was wondering where you're gonna go with that. Like, he puts on people's shoes and masturbates, or what's he do?
Well, we have spoken about this before, because the first thing that Adam Sandler does with this newfound gift is almost rape a woman. Because an attractive woman comes into The Cobbler, and he then takes her boyfriend's shoes and puts them on and follows her into her home, and she is in the shower and he watches her shower.
Jesus.
And she's like, "Oh honey, come on," and he's like undoing the shirt, ready to go, and then looks at his shoes. Obviously he would need to take off the shoes. He can't just be like, "Okay, yeah, I'm just gonna shower in my shoes," and so he decides against committing sexual assault because he would get his shoes wet. So, and this is your protagonist that does this. This is like, hey, here's the likable guy that we're gonna spend the rest of the film with. What a zany! It's real, like, I don't know, like, the people obviously speak about like Revenge of the Nerds or like John Hughes movies where they have like Anthony Michael Hall rape someone or whatever. This was like 2014. And what is so funny is this was a Tom McCarthy film. Tom McCarthy, of course, the director of Spotlight, which you're like, okay, well, you know, it'll take him like a couple of years. No, Spotlight came out the next fucking year. Which just makes me think of like Mark Ruffalo, his investigative journalist in the world of The Cobbler, be like, there's reports of these women being raped, and all of them went to this cobbler. I found receipts for Adam Sandler's Cobbler. All these women who were assaulted went to the cobbler. He knew, and he let it happen. But yeah, on the true crime Cobbler angle, a little interesting story on Wikipedia. The Cobbler was a litigant to a lawsuit where an individual was accused of illegally downloading this movie. The significance is that the judge ruled that the IP address provided by the internet service provider did not meet the test to definitively associate a person with a specific activity. So that would have been like Tom Green to the rescue once again. He's like, don't worry. Daddy, you like some sausages? I've got your legal bills. Green v. Sandler.
Fucking hey.
Because as much as we love him, I don't think Sandman's going to go to bat for you. He'll be like, fuck him. You download my movie?
Yeah. Unless it was Kevin James, then he's there, you know?
Yeah. So The Cobbler is dreadful. The only thing I'll say is, like, Sandman is, like, it's not one of his worst performances, and the fact that it's, like, a body swap shape-shifting kind of thing, he gets to take it easy because for half the screen time he's played by someone else. And because they're all kind of like no name, they're like, oh yeah, great, I get to be like the lead of a movie for like 30 seconds. And they bring an energy which is like, listen, did you see that guy? He was half asleep. So then off to 2015 for Pixels. So he is back at the Razzies with nominations for Worst Picture and Worst Actor. So Pixels, based on that episode of Futurama.
Great episode of Futurama, by the way. I fucking
fantastic.
love that episode.
I know that monkey. His name is Donkey. Donkeys aren't monkeys.
Bigger laugh from that one line than the whole movie. Pixels is the last cinema one. I was thinking it was Grown Ups too. It's Pixels, and then we're on to
Yeah.
Netflix after this. I
But
watched.
it is Pixels. I'll just try and find that for you. Pixels isn't a Happy Madison one. Pixels is, I think, another one where he's able to stuff the cast with his friends.
He got Headley to rewrite the
like,
Futurama episode.
Yeah.
Like,
oh no, it is. It's Happy Madison.
it is Happy Madison.
My mistake.
I mean, it does
my
have all
mistake.
the elements there. Pixels sucks. I watched it half in a day's years after you tell me about it. Like, I refused to fucking watch it, and then it was on, and I don't know, Match of the Day or something's on after it, so fuck it, I'll watch it. Yeah, I hate Pixels. I don't have anything nice to say about Pixels. Watch the Futurama episode. It's not like offensively bad either. Like Pixels isn't Grown Ups to Jack and Jill, but
No,
fucking hell, it's so, I don't know, it's so cynical to me, and it's just, it's got a nasty plasticness to it as well. I just hate.
Yeah.
So yeah, go watch Futurama.
It's a key Messiah man-child text,
Yes.
given that like I think he's like a loser who's like amazing at video games, and he doesn't learn anything. He's not like, oh, skills from video games can be applied across life, or like he doesn't recognize like, oh, maybe, you know, like video games are useful in this situation, but no, it's just like,
But that's
oh, finally,
but that's because Fry
the world
didn't.
has come round.
Fry
and-
didn't learn a lesson, so like, Headley's not getting paid that much. Fucking just do it.
Fry does have more character growth, and he's like, I could never get the last one. My brother always got it for me. But Fry faces more challenge. Sandman would just get the last one instantly. So that same year also brought us Hotel Transylvania 2, which you haven't seen, so I'll just speak about. Kind of diminishing returns, but still decent, still fun enough.
That's still
And
nice
then
to hear,
we
though.
also, like, as much as he's lazy in the performances, in terms of work rate, he is prolific, because that year he also brought us The Ridiculous Six, which that must have been the first of a Netflix
That is the
deal,
first.
I
That
guess.
is the very first one.
Yeah.
I only know this because
Start with a bang.
I confused it with A Million Ways to Die in the West, which is 2014, a couple years earlier.
Yeah.
But yeah, like this is how you're starting your fucking new career, the Bronze
Yeah.
Age or whatever, fucking the Copper Age or whatever we're on now. Yeah, like I haven't seen it though, so you're carrying it here.
It sucks. So it says that apparently it was one of few films to receive an approval rating of 0% on Rotten Tomatoes. I don't know. We don't like to go in for that kind of thing, but that gives you an idea of the reception. Is like, it was crap and people hated it. But similar to The Cobbler, Sandman is finding new ways to not do any work, because like there's a lot of action set pieces in Ridiculous Six. So again, this is another Messiah man-child film of like Adam Sandler is like the fastest gun in the West, and he has like basically superpowers, and so like again, he doesn't face any challenges, he doesn't learn or grow, but in all these amazing feats he's played by stuntmen for half the time. So it's like, yeah, you know what, let my stuntman do that, and I'll just be like at the bar hanging out.
I you know what, I thought of this. I can understand this, because when I first watched fucking Magnificent Seven or whatever, and I was like, oh wait, like you can have an ensemble, 6 other people could carry me. And then I was like, Yul Brynner's not fucking jumping off that horse. And then I was like, oh, fuck it, dub me. I was like, this is the dream. Being in an ensemble piece with 6, so 5 other people. I'll get some other names in there that can, like Terry Crews, he'll distract, he'll keep people busy. Stuntman, I don't even need to really even show up. Like, mine, it's cynical, but if you're going to start shooting these out once a year, you're gonna have to take these shortcuts as well.
Yeah, the only redeeming thing I will say for it is like he certainly wasn't selfish in sharing out the Netflix money. So I'll just read you the cast from Wikipedia. Adam Sandler as Tommy White Knife Dunson Stockburn, a man who was raised by American Indians. Terry Crews as Chico Stockburn, a biracial saloon pianist and the half-brother of Tommy. Jorge Garcia as Herm Stockburn, a mountain man and the half-brother of Tommy who speaks incomprehensibly. Taylor Lautner as Lil Pete Stockburn, a mentally stunted, strong-necked man with a happy-go-lucky personality and the half-brother of Tommy. Rob Schneider as Ramon Lopez Stockburn, a Mexican burro rider and the half-brother of Tommy. Luke Wilson as Danny Stockburn, the former bodyguard of Abraham Lincoln and the half-brother of Tommy. Nick Nolte as Frank Stockburn, a bank robber who's the biological father of Tommy, Chico, Herm, Lil Pete, Ramon, and Danny. So do not be deceived by this.
Who does
that makes it sound far more funny.
Who does John Lovitz play? That's what I need to know. If he's there.
But Ezekiel Grant, the host of a gambling game.
I thought pimp. That's what I was going to go for. I was like, John Lovitz.
yeah.
Jewish outlaw Western pimp. That would be perfect.
Yeah, he's a saloon man for sure. You're not getting him out in the
not getting him outside,
in the rugged sands of We also get Will Forte as Will Patch, the leader of the Left Eye Gang. Nick Swardson as Nellie Patch, a member of the Left Eye Gang. Steve Zahn, Jared Sandler, Danny Trejo as Cicero, the leader of a group of bandits who targets Frank. Harvey Keitel as Smiley Harris, the owner of the Golden Nugget that Chico works for and former member of Frank's gang.
I'm getting into the inner circle now. Scorsese's left you out, but since Little Nicky, he looks after you. Yeah.
Steve Buscemi is Doc Griffin, the doctor, dentist, and barber that works near the Golden Nugget. David Spade is General George Armstrong Custer. He's seen attending a gambling game. Who else do we have?
Do I get Norm?
Yeah, Norm MacDonald as the Golden Nugget customer. This was Norm's last on-screen film role before his death in 2021.
That's a nice pay. And that could be the start of Norm's association with Netflix through Sandler. Yeah. This would have been about this time, so thanks, Adam. That's nice of you.
Chris Parnell as William, a bank manager. Blake Shelton as Wyatt Earp, a lawman that encounters the Ridiculous Six. John Turturro as Abner Doubleday, a Union Army soldier who was inventing baseball in this film. Vanilla Ice as Mark Twain. He is seen attempting a gambling game. Dan Patrick as Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, who Danny used to work for. Chris Kattan as John Wilkes Booth,
Jesus Christ,
Confederate actor who killed Abraham Lincoln while Danny was in the restroom after he mistook him for a fan of the president. And then Tim Herlihy as the bartender of the Golden Nugget. So
I like how this episode is just how much is Tim working. Like I'm so happy for him. He's become my hero over the course of this one episode.
Yeah. So do not be deceived by that description. That makes it sound like a far better movie than it actually is. The most wearying thing is that the movie's full of dancing and just like them cackling at their own jokes, which is the worst part of these large ensemble ones. Like Grown Ups too. You're just watching guys laugh at their own jokes. And it just reminds you of how little you're laughing. It's just like it's kind of like just true laziness of they're like, oh, we don't actually have to write a joke or a punchline if we just say, hey, fatty, is that the equator or your belt? Ha 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 ha. Like if everyone laughs, then the audience will be deceived into thinking that they're having a good time. So we're then off to 2016 with The Do-Over.
The Do-Over. So is that Spade?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's so Netflix still. This would be second one.
Yep.
Yeah. I've not seen The Do-Over. Only thing I know about this is it was his lowest rated film. I think it released.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I know. I know it was hated. That's all I know.
So The Do-Over came out the day after my birthday in 2016. And yeah, I fucking hate it because The Do-Over is the only one where I'm like, this is actually like kind of offensive.
Okay.
Because like David Spade is like some boring guy, I think, and Adam Sandler is like a college friend and they fake their deaths. And it becomes this epic conspiracy thing in which Adam Sandler cures cancer.
Okay.
I think it's like a conspiracy thing where Adam Sandler, like I don't think he's even a scientist or anything. It's not like this man has devoted his entire life to curing cancer. It's like, oh, this guy accidentally stumbled upon the formula for curing cancer on the back of a packet of cigarettes in a bar one night, and now people are trying to assassinate him. So it's a classic, like, the world needs to appreciate me because I am a literal messiah figure.
Fuck.
In fact, I think it might be that he gets cancer, and so he's like, okay, well, nobody's really put effort into solving this thing before, but why don't I have a crack at it? And he does it, and like big pharma companies try and assassinate him. So like, it's honestly like he's playing like a Jason Statham character. Like there's so many explosions and gunfights, and I'm just like, there's like some stuff involving Alzheimer's, and there's like everything to do with serious illness is handled so
Yeah.
poorly in the Do-Over. I was like, if you have lost people to any of these diseases, or like you're like having a bad time and you're like, oh, you know what, like I'll maybe pop on the latest Adam Sandler to like kind of forget my troubles, and you see nonsense about him like curing cancer, I'm like, this fucking sucks.
Well,
Like, I hate like people who like, I hate like the idea of getting offended by things, and like people, I don't know, I hate both the edgelord trying to trigger things, and also like I don't really get offended by stuff that much because I'm just like, this is kind of bad. Maybe it offends me that you got to make this, Kevin Smith, but I don't really get offended. Whereas the Do-Over was one where I'm like getting offended on behalf of people, where I'm like, just seems a bit like kind of, I don't know. It just didn't sit well with me.
That's fair. I mean, they don't all age like you don't mess with the Zohan, some of them age badly.
Exactly. Adam Sandler tackling the relations in the Middle East. All for that. Adam Sandler curing cancer? No. A little piece of interesting Sandler lore for you. So, The Do-Over is the third film after Click and Funny People in which Adam Sandler plays a character who's dying of an incurable terminal illness, which is then cured by the end of the movie.
Oh.
So, a weirder trope that he has.
Who is at this point I'm just trying to keep consistency. My boy's not involved here. Tim's not involved in Do-Over, is he? He's not writing it.
No,
that's all
it's good. Kevin Barnett and Chris Pappas.
Fuck them, that's all good.
He couldn't even lure any of the usual suspects in because it's Spade and Sandler, Catherine Hahn's in it, Nick Swardson, of course, he's got nothing going on, Matt Walsh, Sean Astin, Luis Guzman, fellow PTA collaborator, Michael Chiklis. So yeah, even the Schneiders, even the Lovitzes were like, I'm busy. Then we are off to 2017 with Sandy Wexler. So, Sandy Wexler, you haven't seen.
I have not seen. Again, Dark Ages now for me.
Yeah. You might know what it is, though. This is like one of those like career-long epic things, I think, of he's like telling the life story of like a talent manager.
Okay.
Like he rips it's like a Woody Allen film, but there's a better reference for what this film is. There's a more accessible, like, one of those like sprawling Hollywood epics of like, this is the guy and his entire life through everyone he's ever represented.
Yeah, okay. Since I was getting, what was I getting? Hail Caesar. That's the vibes I was getting at first. And then you've led me, and I'm like, okay, no, there's a better reference point there, but I can't think of it. But anyway, that's not the point.
The point is, it's not good.
It's not good.
It's not outrageously bad, but nor is it good. But because of the format of it, he's able to get absolutely fucking everyone in. So, the cast: Adam Sandler, Sandy Wexler, Jennifer Hudson, Kevin James, Terry Crews, Shad Gaspard, Rob Schneider, Colin Quinn, Nick Swardson, Lamorne Morris, Arsenio Hall, Jane Seymour, Wayne Federman, Luis Guzman, Rob Reiner, Milo Ventimiglia, Alan Covert, Kate Micucci. Cameos include Clay Aiken, Jewel, Darius Rucker, Jason Priestley, Arsenio Hall again, Quincy Jones, Judd Apatow, Janine Garofalo, Pauly Shore. There we go. My question has been answered. Lauren Michaels, Dana Carvey, Chris Rock, David Spade, Penn Jillette, Henry Winkler, Al B. Sure, Brian McKnight, Vanilla Ice,
Vincent Ice,
Jimmy Kimmel, Conan O'Brien, Weird Al Yankovic, Kenneth the Babyface Edmonds, Mason Mace Betha, Jay Leno, Lisa Loeb, John Lovitz, Bud Friedman, and his wife Alex Friedman.
Well, you know what I need you to do here, though. Control F, Tim H. Is he here?
Okay. No.
Nope. Okay.
All that and couldn't find a place
find a space
for old Timmy.
Old Timmy, who's carried your work.
Yeah. Mike Judge makes a vocal cameo as Beavis and Butthead during the end credits. I don't remember that. Beavis and Butthead are fucking in this film.
Jesus.
And professional wrestlers Rikishi and David Otunga have brief roles in the film.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay, so
Dreadful
there you
names
go.
to have in there, though. But if you can't pronounce
Yeah.
them, then they're not big enough.
The root. So like Sandler's doing a voice. He's doing a swing, but he can't really be bothered sustaining it from scene to scene, and it's just like a collection of vignettes of like, here's Sandman hanging out with one of his pals for a day, and the camera's rolling in the background. So it's not really good.
Yeah. Is this a
But
Netflix one?
that is a
This
Netflix
is a
one.
Netflix one.
So it was, what was it? It was 3 out of the original 4-film deal.
Okay.
And so the next film, which I do not think was the final film of the Netflix deal, but was a Netflix film, the Meyerowitz stories, new and selected. So have you seen
I
it?
have not. You've seen it. We spoke about this a lot, haven't we?
I've seen it. I am a Baumbach fan.
You
so
are.
I was there.
I
opening day.
am not, unfortunately. Or not. I'm not. I'm not a hater. Let's get that on the
Yeah.
fucking record. But I'm not running out to see Noah Spinney's great. I don't know. Epic, was it? I can't remember what you told me.
It's just kind of like it's maybe Royal Tenenbaumsy, I guess. It's
Okay.
just about like a bunch of siblings and their father, like a bunch of like, it's like Sandman and Ben Stiller are brothers, and Dustin Hoffman is their dad. He's the royal to
Okay.
their Ben Stiller and Luke Wilson, I guess. It's just that kind of dysfunctional family, that standard Woody Allen kind of thing. And it's fine. It's not one of my favorite Baumbachs. Sandler's like pretty okay.
That's a very woodsy year for Adam Sandler here, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Back to back woodsy.
Yeah. I feel like he's the type of guy who might have worked with Woodsy
Oh, 100%.
if Woodsy had kept going long enough.
If Adam broke through in the 80s, I think he would have been popping up in like he would have been his Thomas Anderson probably, his first serious
Yeah.
role in a 1993 film that only you
Yeah.
and 10 other people have seen.
And then we move off to 2018. So that brings us the week of.
Oh,
So you won't have
I
seen
don't
the
even
week
think I've
of.
heard of
I'm
this one.
assuming.
Which one's this?
The week of is like someone's getting married. Someone's daughter's getting married. Oh, that's what it is. So co-written. It's Smigel again.
Oh.
It's directed by Smigel.
Oh.
Co-written by Sandler and Smigel. So that's what it is. It's Sandler's. I want to get this right. Let's think. Sandler's daughter is marrying Chris Rock's son.
Okay. So
And so they're the fathers-in-law, and like the whole family kind of descends, and it's one of those like culture clash kind of things.
okay.
It's not great, but I don't hate it.
Okay.
It's not, as far as the Netflix films go. So this was the final of the original 4-picture deal, and I'm gonna say it's the best.
Okay. It sounds very tame.
It
for
is, yeah.
Smigel as well. And even Rock and Sandler, Smigel. It's very 94 SNL.
Yeah.
I'm expecting much wackier. So it sounds quite refreshing.
No, you get some relatives are kind of a little bit more out there because it's all like, oh, you need to pick up like cousin Mo from the airport, and grandma's sharing a bed with
Kevin
so-and-so.
James.
No, actually, that's the
No,
other
yeah,
thing it
that's what I'm
has
saying,
going
okay.
for it is it's very restrained. Buscemi is the only one of the regulars who's there.
Any other SNLers?
Rachel Dratch, was she? Yeah. Alison Strong, no. Scott Cohen, Melanie Nichols King.
No, that's
Noah Robbins,
very,
Maura
very.
Ginsburg,
If you've got to
yeah.
look for it and it's not fucking Will Forte, John Lovitz, and
Yeah,
Kevin
yeah.
Nealon.
Yeah. Chris Kattan.
Very refrained. Well done. Well done.
And then we are off to Hotel Transylvania 3, which isn't Summer Vacation.
I didn't know
So
there was a third one.
There's a fourth one.
Oh God.
The fourth one, they have ditched him and replaced him with like whoever the 2020s equivalent of Dan Castellaneta is.
Okay.
Because it's like a sound-alike voice actor who probably cost like 1/100th of what. I just like to let you know, Sony Pictures, if you're looking for someone who can do a flawless impression of the Cock and Bull's voice, my rates are very, very low.
Yes.
So yeah, Hotel Transylvania, not really good. I can't remember if Jendy's still around at this point, because Okay, Genndy Tartakovsky is still around,
Okay.
so it must be. Four is just like four has the vibe. Four was a pandemic film,
Ah,
but it has the vibe of like a direct to VHS because it's just like there's no Tartakovsky, and it just has like, oh, it went to Amazon Prime. It just seems like the animation budget is
ah.
scaled back. So one of the things it really has going for is the energy and the jokes and the stuff happening in the backgrounds of shots. Four is just like two characters in a completely empty frame where it's like they don't even have the budget for fucking animated extras.
So
Like,
is that when they've taken out Sandler then? Is that what you were alluding to earlier?
yeah, so Sandler's gone for four. Sandberg's still there. Selena Gomez is still there.
Okay.
Catherine Hahn's there. Gaffigan's there. Buscemi, Spade, and Keegan Michael Key are there. But the Sandman's gone,
Wow.
and Kevin James is also gone.
That's fucking brilliant.
Okay, then we are off to 2019, which was the year of Murder Mystery.
Yeah.
Have you seen
I
Murder
haven't,
Mystery?
but I know it got a sequel. That's about so it couldn't have been the worst. That's Aniston though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't pay me enough to watch that.
It sucks. I
Yeah.
watched it for this, and the really like, so Gemma Arterton is Luke Evans is in it. Who
Okay.
like I think Luke Evans is decent. Gemma Arterton, who I really like, is in it, which is incredibly disappointing. Gemma Arterton acting alongside David Walliams of all people.
Ugh.
I'm like, Miss Arterton, fire your agent because
Yeah.
listen, we have a part in Showgirls 3 for you,
We-
Gemma, if you're interested.
100%
Kyle will
do.
question you incessantly about Bond. We'll call you Strawberry Fields. Terrence Stamp is also in it for you.
Okay. Yeah,
He's
that's for me.
he's the Christopher Plummer from Knives Out. If he's the old guy who gets killed.
It's great that you're rooting for Gemma Arterton, but no, not for you.
And there's some old fuck
There's
for you.
Even-
Old guy from the 70s. But the thing which really hurts me about Murder Mystery is it was written by James Vanderbilt. So does that name mean anything to you?
It does, but why does it?
He is the screenwriter of Zodiac, which
I wouldn't have
Masterpiece.
known that. I wouldn't have known that. No, that's not who I was thinking. I love
So-
Zodiac, but what else did he do?
yeah, exactly.
What else did he
Zodiac
do?
masterpiece, one of the best, like David Fincher's masterpiece, and he is one of the great directors of American cinema. And he has been like, it's just like, did a different guy like write Zodiac? Did he use Zodiac to get into what he actually wanted to do? Because I know the notorious thing is like the guy who wrote Hangover 3 and then wrote Chernobyl or whatever. He's done that, but in reverse. Because he wrote Zodiac and then he wrote The Losers, The Amazing Spider-Man, White House Down, The Amazing Spider-Man 2, Truth, Independence Day Resurgence, Slender... Oh, no, he's just a producer on Slender Man. Okay. Then he wrote Murder Mystery. Then he wrote the Scream reboot. Then he wrote Scream 6 and Murder Mystery 6. And I'm like, you
Murder
fucking wrote Zodiac and then you went and did this?
No, I know the truth here. It's Fincher. I could scribble manic writings, ramblings about Showgirls 3, give it to that man, and he will put out a film that is great. That doesn't like, it does matter what's on the page, of course it does, but like Fincher can piece together things through the beauty of movie making and filmmaking. I think, I don't know. No, Zodiac. Did he write it alone?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's the thing, is like, I don't know if he just like burnt himself out, because so much would have been like the research. So I can completely understand if you wrote Zodiac for like what seems like, wouldn't be unreasonable to guess, could be like a decade of your life just reading books and researching things, and you're like, actually, you know what? I kind of just want to write Spider-Man from now on.
I mean, it's me. That's my
yeah, exactly.
my great Manson film will never come out because I just kind of fuck about with Spider-Man and get that sweet Marvel money.
Yeah, okay, so here we go. Development. Vanderbilt had read Robert Graysmith's book while in high school. Years later, after becoming a screenwriter, he got the opportunity to meet Graysmith and became fascinated by the folklore surrounding the Zodiac Killer. He decided to translate the story into a script.
That's also
met-
also the fucking point. Like, if a hack person like me could do a Manson, like anyone can do, if you just study it and transplant it onto an already like structured script, you could do something pretty easily. Like, your dialogue's either real transcripts that you just chopping up, or you can just fill in the blanks. Like, yeah, I'm putting this on
adapted
Fincher.
screenplay isn't real work, is what you're saying.
I'm just saying Fincher's doing all the work and the heavy lifting.
There are lots of ones where like Fincher's notorious for like Andrew Kevin Walker has rewritten like so many of his scripts and not being credited because he's the guy who wrote Seven, and this Fincher's like guy who's like, hey, do you mind doing like a pass on, like, is it The Game? I think it might be The Game. Due to WGA rules, he couldn't get Andrew Kevin Walker credited, so he's just like in the cast list. He's like Detective Andrew, Detective Kevin, Detective Walker. There we go.
Yeah, but that's not the same.
But yeah, so Zodiac I was interested in because I was like, from my understanding, Zodiac wasn't like something where he did have it heavily rewritten by like Sorkin or Andrew Kevin Walker. But yeah, anyway. Our man, James Vanderbilt is clearly just living his best life,
Absolutely.
making Scream movies and murder mystery. Like, if you told me the same guy made Zodiac as made murder mystery, I would not have believed you. And it sucks. It's not good, but it's not like aggressively terrible. Also, 2019, the year which brought us Uncut Gems, for which he was nominated for the Razzie Redeemer Award.
Was. Didn't win it though. Never a winner.
No. Eddie Murphy and piece of shit. What was it called again?
Oh,
Dolomite.
Yeah, Dolomite.
My name is Dolomite.
Dolomite.
Dolomite Strikes Again. Yeah.
I like Edward too, for what it's worth. I love
Dolomite's fine.
I do like
but
it.
Uncut Gems is a masterpiece.
Yes,
so
100%. Career defining role. Never thought you'd do better than Punch Drunk Love. I never thought you would do better.
No.
I didn't think there would be a bit. I, for the record, prefer Uncut Gems as well to Punch. It's close.
Yeah,
it's close as fuck. But like, I adore Uncut Gems. It was my film of 2019. It's the best. It's one of my favorite fucking films. Period. It's fucking great.
Yeah.
Like, not much else to say. Do you want to see more? Can Lightning Strike Thrice? I'd like to see.
Well, he's working with the Safdies again.
I'd like to see
so...
it again. I believe he can do it.
Yeah. Nothing to say really except to echo that. It's like so good in like I said at the start, this kind of redeems a lifetime of bad performances, whereas like so much energy, so much of his ass goes into Uncut Gems. I was like, he's been half-assing most of the last decade, if we're honest. Well, but he puts like 4 times a human amount of ass into Uncut Gems because it's
the year of
exhausting just watching it.
Like okay, well I know we've just talked about fucking murder mystery, right? But let's imagine he did that on a weekend. Yeah. 2019 would have been the year of Sandler's Fool Ass. Or if not, it's 2020. It's the Netflix special. He's
the live 100% fresh. Yeah.
So like, not only is he a great actor, but he's funny again. Like, he is top of the fucking mountain. Like, well done.
Yeah.
This is a Redeemer Award. Like, you were robbed this year. This is fucking incredible career achievement this late in the game.
He's back.
Yeah.
And he's got his phone, wallet, passport, and keys.
And for the record as well, I love that comeback special. I like it. Really fun. Really funny, memorable, and touching as well with Farley tribute. Yep.
And he's still touring it. So North American listeners, go out and see.
Yeah, beat that into the ground.
Giving a plug to underground artist Adam Sandler, someone who could use some of your extra cash. But yeah, Uncut Gems. So I saw that at the Toronto Film Festival. I think it screened in New York. It wasn't the premiere. I think I'd screened somewhere else. And it was the Sandman's birthday. Aww. So I saw it in the same room as the Sandman. We all sung happy birthday to him. And then I saw him out back because he was leaving in the car, waved to the big man himself.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So, for the record, I think Uncut Gems is one of the weirdest casts of all time. Because you mentioned something, but here in Uncut Gems, of course, we have Sandman, Lakeith Stanfield, Julia Fox, Kevin Garnett, Idina Menzel, aka Del Dazeem, Eric Bogosian, Judd Hirsch, The Weeknd, and then Tilda Swinton in a vocal cameo, and a bunch of freaky weird Safdie guys. including one of them. I think my dad bumped into one of the weird guys
Okay.
wandering around, or he saw him in Toronto at the festival and was really freaked out by seeing him just out in the wild. um, and so we're coming towards the end now, where in 2020 we have Hubie Halloween. So fresh off Redemption, he was nominated for Worst Actor, Worst Screen Combo, Adam Sandler and his grating Simpleton voice, and Worst Prequel, Remake, Ripoff, or Sequel, which was Ernest Scared Stupid, if memory serves.
I've not seen Hubie Halloween, but I remember you putting this off before you watched it. This was a great looming. No, it was when it was coming on. It was coming on the horizon.
Did I not?
Right? Maybe it was someone else.
No. I'm sure I watched Hubie like on release date.
Of course
almost.
you did. All right, never mind. Take it away then. Take it away.
Yeah. Hubie Halloween, kind of a bit of a return to form. It's also just like, after Uncut Gems, everything else is recontextualized.
Yes.
Where I'm like, you know what? If you just want to goof around with your friends, I will take it. I will take 1,000 Hubie Halloweens just for one Uncut Gems. Yeah, so he's like doing a funny voice, which is an easy way to get me on board. And like it's kind of like callbacks to, it's like a throwback. And like, granted, the magic's kind of gone, but still, like, I've got time for Hubie Halloween. And then
is
we
my
are
boy
off.
involved? You didn't tell me that. Is Tim back yet?
He is actually.
Ooh.
Yeah, co-written by Tim.
See,
Tim and the Sandman.
After Uncut Gems, it's all, you deserve a paycheck. Go write me a buddy. Fucking good time with Kevin James, and yeah, great. Happy days.
Exactly. Like we said, like it's like a throwback, return to form, the dream team back together. Yeah. 2022, he brought us Hustle. So Hustle is the one where he made that just to hang out with basketball players rather than hanging out with his friends. He was like, I want to hang out with some up and coming NBA stars. And so, like, Queen Latifah's in it, Ben Foster's in it, Robert Duvall's in it, but like none of the other usual suspects. Yes, this is a Netflix film. And it earned him his first Screen Actors Guild Award nomination. So I'm not a huge basketball fan. I think it's fine. It didn't do it for me personally, but like it's just fine. Like he's good in it. Yeah. He's good. Yeah, good performance. Just one of those things where the performance is kind of better than the film, I guess. And then that brings us to 2023. So that was the year of Murder Mystery 2, You Are So Not Invited to My Bat Mitzvah, and Leo. All three of them being Netflix films.
Oh, so I knew there was a Murder Mystery 2 because I seen it come up on Netflix. I know about Leo because it's meant to be okay, or people are liking it. I don't know if that's ironic or not these days. I can't tell. But people are saying it's okay. And what was the other one?
You Are So Not Invited to My Bat Mitzvah.
I don't know what the fuck that is.
He's in it, but from what I understand, it's mostly a vehicle for his daughters.
Good old fashioned nepotism, eh? Fair. if he's gonna do a Robert Rodriguez, and I'd get the whole family jobs.
It's produced by Tim.
My seal of
Someone's
approval.
Getting a little bit of that. Netflix.
Uncle Tim.
I'm just gonna throw your name on it. Adam, I'm not free to help with it. It's okay, Tim. I put your name on the contract. A nice minute, Netflix. They send you a check right now.
Oh my god, that is wonderful. Is that his first? That must be his first production credit then. Holy shit!
I don't
without
know.
Doing writing,
I think he's
without
sole production. It might be. It might well be. Yeah.
Oh, God bless you.
Yeah. There you go. Producer, Saturday Night Live, and then You Are So Not Invited to My Bat Mitzvah 24 years later. He has a bunch of exec producer credits, but like that's the only one that he
Fantastic. I need to know. We need him on. It's not too late, Tim.
Yeah.
It's not too late.
So Murder Mystery 2 I also watched. Rather than watching like The Wedding Singer, I instead like devoted my efforts to Murder Mystery 1 and 2. 2's a lot better than 1.
Okay.
1's just boring. He's playing a cop in 1, And in 2, they kind of just forget. In 2, they're just kind of famous celebrity sleuths, and they kind of throw out that he was ever like a detective cop. And it's just 2. They kind of find the tone in like, oh, this is just game night. This is just a shit game night. But instead of Jason Bateman and Rachel McAdams, it's Sandler and Aniston. So I had more fun with 2.
Okay.
They let him be a little looser, and it's a little more funny. And I've watched some of Leo. Leo's fucking weird, man.
Is it?
Leo's like a musical, but like he's a lizard in a tank, and just like the focus of Leo is all over the place. And I'm like, okay, so like it is kind of about like the kids, but like Leo seems like cripplingly aware of mortality because the lizard learns that he's only going to live one more year. It's like lizards learn the type of lizard. Someone's like, oh, those type of iguanas, they live to 75, and then Sandman's like, my first memory was from 1949. Now what's math? How old am I? And then he has to speak to a bunny who played by Nick Swardson, who tells him he's 74, and he's like, shit, I'm gonna die. And there's like other things that are kind of like ticking clock. There's a kid who becomes an old man. It seems it's one of those like, okay, who is this about?
Yeah.
And who is this for?
Yeah.
But it's funny. I laughed. Lots of good gags.
And for what, a Netflix animated film, that's
yeah,
the bar's low. Fair play. Well done.
Yeah. But I do want to talk. We've done Sandler past, we've done Sandler present, and I do want to talk about Sandman future, because I think it's been in production for a while, but due to be released next year is another Netflix film, Spaceman by Johan Renck. Do you know anything about this?
I have no idea about this.
So this is, Johan Renck is the guy who directed Chernobyl.
Oh,
so
okay.
People really like him. He's only directed one feature like 2 decades ago or whatever, but I think Chernobyl's really, really well directed. Upcoming American science fiction film starring Sandman, Paul Dano, Carey Mulligan, Kunal Nayyar, and Isabella Rossellini. An astronaut sent to the edge of the galaxy to collect mysterious ancient dust finds his earthly life falling to pieces. He turns to the only voice who can help him try to put it back together. It just so happens to belong to a creature from the beginning of time lurking in the shadows of his ship.
What?
Which
that's fucking
sounds like
I'm on board.
Far out for Sandman's.
I am
like he's not really
bored.
tackled anything.
No,
Yeah.
he's never tackled anything non-comedic
That
and
existential.
weird.
Yeah.
Anything out there.
Little Sandman's Ad Astra,
yeah.
perhaps.
Oh, I'd be up for this. So why is it stuck? Where's it
Oh, it says that apparently it wrapped in 2021, but because of the pandemic and the strikes, it was scheduled to be out this year, but it's been pushed to next year because of the strike. So
that gives me hope as well, because if it was shit, they would have just dumped it.
yeah.
That gives me a lot of hope.
Yeah. Watch it come out like in
Oh,
January or something.
Oh.
Just be like, you watch the trailer and it's like a ridiculous, like, why the fuck is Kevin James in this? But yeah, really looking forward to that.
Has he got anything else?
So,
have you had a look at his IMDb?
That's,
Is that the only thing?
I'll just have a look. That was Wikipedia, but we'll just see what IMDb has in store for us. The Safdies project. He's meant to be working on another Safdies film. I don't know if any details are out about that. So he just has Spaceman and Untitled Adam Sandler Safdie Brothers project. So Megan Thee Stallion's in that, but no other details
Okay.
at present. He's playing Professor X in the X-Men. No. So yeah, good times to be a Sandler fan.
It is.
We've got a Safdie's film to look forward to. We've got the Spaceman.
Oh yeah, and I'm sure the Netflix deal must be at an end or coming to an end very, very shortly.
I think they renewed it. Like, I don't know, because he's like, all of his films have been fucking. Even Uncut Gems was a Netflix film.
Yeah, is that a Happy Madison?
So, like,
though? That's the difference.
So like, all of his films are Netflix. Like, but I don't know the terms of the deal.
I see Happy Madison films as being separate, as things like the Whatever Tales or even the Cobbler. I don't know if any of these aren't Happy Madison. They don't count. If I'm lawyering up here.
Yeah.
Because Benny Safdie is not sharing a writing credit with Tim Henley, so
try as he might.
It's not happening.
Josh, Benny, I'm yelling at my friend Tim. He's such a good boy. He always plays with his cock and balls. And I've been sick, so you listeners have been spared me doing the cock and balls voice. I saved it right for the end, like Mick Jagger, just saving his energy up for Jumpin' Jack Flash at the end of the Rolling Stones tune. Still got it. But yeah. So, any other final notes on the Sandman
That
before
was
we?
very comprehensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was clear, concise. Well, not clear and concise, but very comprehensive guide from fucking going overboard all the way to Starman or Spaceman or whatever.
Yeah, from let me think, from the B for Billy to W for Wexler.
There we go. I would like to see more Sandler stuff. I like to see him branch out. I like this. He's definitely at the point career-wise where he's still young enough to go do some fun stuff and not just like Bill Murray it up and wait until you're a geriatric to get weird.
Yeah,
embrace it.
I was actually thinking before you mentioned Bill Murray, I'd be interested to see how like Wes Anderson used him. I don't think their strengths are suited to each other.
No,
but it might surprise me. Like the Boundback, he's only one link removed from Wes.
He very much is. Yeah, but this is the time. Yeah. Just go any working director that is some quality to himself.
Terrence Malick. Or we haven't spoken about the things that didn't come to fruition. Most notably, probably being the Bear Jew in Inglourious Bastards, because he would have crushed that. He would have been amazing.
Fantastic. Well, that's it. There's always Tarantino links. We talked about that in Little Nicky. Yeah. I'd love to see Sandler in the final film.
And the final the critic.
The whatever. Yeah, the fucking you wait, Tarantino.
Tarantino makes his final film and I was like, you know what? I always wanted to direct a Little Nicky sequel. Turns out we're doing 11.
But yeah, other than that, I just keep working. It's good to see him performing and touring. Give me another album. I'd love to hear what you got to say on disc. Yeah. But yeah, onwards and upwards. It's not a time to look forward to Adam Sandler being funny in films. Yeah. I'm not saying that ship sailed, but because he is funny, it's just you're not getting the elements anymore.
We've kind of spoken about it, how like comedians have like such short shelf lives. Like if you look at like Steve Martin or like Eddie Murphy, Mike Myers, all these people, it's really like if you can keep going for more than like 5 years, whatever, like comedy moves so quickly. You're seeing it with unrealistic.
Sandler's successor, Andy Samberg. Like they can play brothers now. They don't, that. That's My Boy feels like a lifetime ago.
Yeah.
So everyone's quickly catches up to what you're gonna do. So, but I'm still keen to see more. And he's also good when he hosts SNL. It means I'll tune in. So he's like one of those instant views for me.
There he is with Bao and Yang.
Opera Man with Bao and Yang. Yes. But still love him. Still not going to watch any of the Jennifer Aniston ones. It's my Exorcist 2 for you. It's just not happening. Anything else?
No, that's all my business. So if you have enjoyed this episode, then you can contact us. If you wish to be harassed by us on air with our next episode, you can email us at watchingworstfilms@gmail.com. You can also find us on social media at watchingworst, where you can submit any supporting documentation for why Grown Ups is a good film. If you wanna join Ash's side against us, then
heck, if
by all means,
weigh
into the debate.
Co-writer and Razzie nominee Tim Herlihy wants to come in and defend it, feel free.
And you can join us next week when we will be continuing our tour, our victory lap through the Razzie greats with the most. I think she's the most nominated actress. She's certainly the most successful actress in terms of wins. Most successful actress in Razzie history. The star of gems such as Body of Evidence, Who's That Girl, Shanghai Surprise, Die Another Day, and Swept Away, is of course Madonna. But we're going to be taking a slightly interesting approach to things. A movie which escaped scrutiny by the Razzies entirely is Madonna's debut feature, which she wrote and directed, W.E., about King Edward VIII and Wallace Simpson. So we're going to be watching W.E. and then speaking about Madonna more broadly.
It feels like it was AI generated chatbot there or something. That's not real. Oh God. All right, I'll see you next week. Can't wait. Oh, I wasn't ready for that. What year was this come out? Wait, I'm gonna look for it. Is it like we? What does it stand for?